certainly the best.
In treating this topic on constitutionalism and political plurality, looking at a way to prevent the multi-party system of the country tilting towards a one-party state, we will be looking at defections, political defections. You agree with me that that is a huge one when it comes to politicians defecting from party A to party B, and basically what could be the consequence, what could be the constitutional provisions preventing indiscriminate cross-carpeting from one political party to another in Nigeria. And I have with me a legal luminary and a person of Fidelis Areye. Big thanks for coming, Fidelis.
You're welcome.
All right, let's look at political defections. We seem to have it too dominant in our political system. Do we have provisions of the law, which I believe we do, but let's have a legal background of what the provisions of the law has as regards preventing indiscriminate or the abuse on political defections in the country by politicians?
You see, in Nigeria, we have a law, and that only law only cut across the House of Assembly, Section 68, 1G, and Section 109, 1G, that any House of Assembly that defected without a very good reason, without the party not having any crisis, he defected like that, he will lose his seat. Those are the law backing the House of Assembly. But any other person in a political party can defect with a good reason, without anything. With this, you see a lot of people cross-carpeting. They are cross-carpeting. Some of the political parties members are also cross-carpeting because they have air in one way and the other, so that the government in power will not chase them with EFCC and others. You see most of them cross-carpeting, which is very wrong. Then weakening the opposition party. And the party in power now became very dominant. This which result to abuse of power in government.
Are you by this saying that political defections could be abused?
Yes, it could be abused. In the ground that if they are, most of them are being they are defecting as a result of they have air. Maybe some of them that are in power, when they air in that office, maybe they have partake in one high corruption and the other, they decide to defect to the ruling party so that they will not be chased by anti-corruption. As a result of that, most parties, most members are being defected from that weakening party to the ruling party. Those are the major problems.
Oh, okay.
But in that of House of Assembly, while you are occupying a seat, you defect without a very good reason. That Section 68 1G and Section 109 1G we cut off with that person.
Okay, so that also comprises that of the state houses of assembly.
Yes, it's national, not they say in National House of Assembly.
Not you mean it's restricted to the federal? Or it can also. But it also applies to the state houses of assembly.
The state.
They are representatives.
If it is really is in practice.
Because you got the position on the platform of another political party. So if you got that position on the platform of the political party, the onus lies on you to give a very, very credible reason. Yeah. You know, like issues of political crisis, for instance, in the party. which could make you defect from that party to another. But if you don't have a credible reason, then you basically could lose your seat as a representative. So it cuts across both the federal and that of the state.
Our law is there, but it's not in practice. They don't put our law in practice. If you talk of that in House of Assembly, you see during this dispensation, most of the opposition party, they crossed to the ruling party. They didn't lose their seat. They still remain. But if that law being affected, but if the section 68, 1 and 109 really specifically based on national assemblies, they have to. And I believe because these laws are just there, they are not in practice, they can even also do away with it, even done away with it, even in the national. That is why you see many people are drifting to.
Okay, if they are not in practice, who do you blame? Because political actors are your politicians, and of course,
I agree.
They are supposed to test it in court.
Yeah, they're supposed to test it. That's why we are talking of the independence of the judiciary. If the judiciary are independent, they are not answerable to the executives in every area, in appointment, in fund and others. They'll be able to act well. They'll be able to act well.
How do you how do you apply the role of the judiciary in curbing this abuse?
The role of judiciary in curbing the abuse of the creeping to one-party system is only for them to be free and fair. When any matter of such arose is brought before them in court. But they are not the one that play the roles, the major role.
Exactly what I mean, you know. Is it not left for those who are aggrieved, those who feel shortchanged, to challenge the case in court? Not necessarily the judiciary doing that, but if you feel aggrieved or shortchanged as a party stakeholder, that a particular representative, you know, of a constituency defected to another party without, you know, following due process, that can be challenged in the court.
I agree. You know, when this is a challenge,
because you were saying that the laws are not being implemented. So I was saying, in what way can they be implemented if they are not challenged in court?
Unless the person is able to prove his case. Because all these people defecting, they always have their reasons of defecting, of cross-carpeting.
Yeah, we understand that it has to do with, we understand it has to do with if the party is in crisis.
Yes.
You made mention of some representatives, for instance,
yes.
Though you didn't give names,
yes.
You know, that they cross-carpet from one party
to the other,
to another, you know, without due process. But again, if we are to fetch for such reasons that they gave, it could surprise you that they cited reasons of, you know, party crisis. Because, for instance, we've seen the challenges that PDP as a party has been going through. And so we've seen exodus of defection from PDP to the ruling party. In such a case, don't they have credible reasons for defecting?
You see, that is what I said earlier, that most of them they are cross-carpeting for one reason and the other. Some of them who are in PDP, they have exerted a very good position in PDP. Maybe some of them have soiled their hand one way and the other. The next thing is for them to cross-carpet.
That's an assumption.
Yes.
And it's your opinion.
Yes. And upon that, you see that most people, they always have a reason of cross-carpeting. As such, the court cannot do otherwise for them.
Are you saying that we do not have enough laws or provisions that will protect the country's, you know, system from tilting towards a one-party state through monitoring defections in the political landscape?
In the first place,
are you saying we don't have enough laws?
No, yes,
because you mentioned the fact that it only applies to those in the National Assembly, for instance. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. We are still on defections.
Yes.
So what about for those who are not holding positions, who for whatever reasons would just want to jump from one party to the other? is the law, or are the laws silent? We don't have a law on that can guide against such an unscrupulous act.
Section 14 of the Nigeria Constitutions allow you to jump
from one party to another at will.
Yeah, your interest group.
At will, you can just leave the party.
At will, not leave. You must have reason of leaving the party.
Even if it's not a cogent reason.
You must have a reason.
Yes,
leaving the party.
There'll be reasons.
That section
reasons
14.
Reasons could be they are not recognized.
Yes.
Reasons could be they just feel they have a better chance in joining the ruling party because it's the party in power. But are these reasons cogent enough? Because we need to protect our political system from, taking after stomach infrastructure, where everybody just come out and say they want to defer from one party to another just because of survival. How do we guide against this? Because
I believe
this is where the system tilts gradually into a one-party state.
The way you guide against this one-party system, it starts from the INEC. INEC must be able to be proactive. There are areas of elections.
So how does INEC do that without the laws?
there is law for them that before you defect, there must be a very good reasons, and if that reason is not met, there will be penalty for that.
As in penalty against the political party or against the individual?
No, against the political party, against if it is
because it cannot be, because we cited an instance where those who are not even running for elective positions, who are not running for positions, just members of the party, now so decide that they want to defer from that party to another, if there are laws that can guide against such abuse. So if such persons are now doing that indiscriminately, what has INEC got to do with that? Because most especially when they are not even running for elective positions. So are you saying that INEC can sanction such political parties that have such defections of members?
They have no right to sanction such political
So how can INEC come in?
The only way is that somebody who just cross-carpeting, like the INEC now, they are to harmonize and enhance all the political parties of the states. If there going to be an amendment whereby the constitution will bring in all these laws that, as it's been applicable in National House of Assembly, is applicable to every individuals for a very good reason, it will work. It will work. INEC will be able to follow up that system. Then the other one is the judiciary.
Okay, no, before you get to judiciary, you just brought about this aspect of INEC, because there is still a burning issue, and they are in the eye of the storm as regards the challenges, facing opposition, as in facing opposition in the quest of power come 2027. You agree with me that recently that there has been issues about the electoral umpire not recognizing both factions of that of Senator David Mark, and that of Gombe Bala Nafiu of ADC. Now, what are you saying the role of INEC in that aspect is? Do you see them as playing the role of neutrality, or seem to be favoring the ruling party in not recognizing or making a pronouncement that they are not going to recognize the meetings, the conventions of these factions of the ADC? Because by that, it means they are somehow non-existent, because INEC is not recognizing them. So do you see INEC as playing the role of an electoral umpire, or being not neutral in this matter?
For me, I didn't see them be biased.
You don't see them as biased?
Yes.
In case you're just joining me, the program is Law and You, and we are on constitutionalism and political plurality, preventing the multi-party system we operate in Nigeria from tilting towards a one-party state. And I've been discussing with Fidelis Areyi, a legal practitioner. We'll take a short break, after which we continue on the conversation. Do stay. welcome back. Still with the legal luminary, Fidelis. Thank you for sustaining your presence with me. Now, let's look at this aspect of the judiciary. I remember you said it vividly when you made mention of the fact that the judiciary plays a vital role if we must have it right in terms of the country system not tilting towards a one-party state. Then the judiciary must be independent. Isn't the judiciary independent?
They are partially independent. They are not fully independent because the appointments still come from them.
From the executive?
Executives, yes. The appointments still come from them. The confirmation still come from them. It's only in the fund they are a bit.
Okay, they have some financial autonomy.
Yes, autonomy.
Okay.
That one don't make them independent because every appointment is being confirmed by the executive.
And not by the NJC?
Not by the NJC. NJC will recommend. That's where
Will recommend?
Yes.
Okay, so if we must get it right, the judiciary must be independent.
Yes.
By virtue of appointments.
Yes, appointment. And from there, you see, the system will work well. They'll be working without fear and
okay, but how do we also tackle the aspect of culture of impunity, corruption, for instance, bribery and corruption? Can we excuse the judiciary from that?
You see, in area of bribery and corruption, it cut across the whole board.
Not just the judiciary.
Not only judiciary. Even individual.
Are you saying that to excuse the fact that the judiciary should not be in the eye of the storm to criticize and investigate why and how that can be stopped in the judiciary? I mean, by this, are you trying to defend the judiciary?
No, I'm not trying to defend the judiciary. Judiciary that is corrupt, some are be put to the board. They don't leave them. But what I'm saying that in terms of corruption, it depends on individual, not all the judiciary.
Okay, but how do we tackle corruption in the judiciary?
The only way you can tackle corruption in the judiciary, in the area of political cases, it is only when the judiciary are fully independent, because most of them, at the end of the judgment, at times they work towards the area of the government. You see that it's only those that are very bold, and some of them that are bold, they can find anything to bring against them, like what happened during the time of Buhari period.
All right, let's look at this aspect of voters, for instance, the electorate. Yes. Because it's one thing for us to have it right at the point of making sure that our laws catch up with those who flout the law or who go against it. But again, it's another for us to have our elections right, where voters will come out en masse to participate in the election. Now, do you see what is happening at present in terms of the political landscape and, you know, the opposition versus the ruling party? Do you see this as a way of creating an imbalance where voter apathy could be worsened or heightened in the country?
What I see is there that unless the political this thing is being reformed, by way of electronic transmission, you see that when we are able to embark on electronic transmission, the system will work for the electorate very well.
What do you mean electronic transmission? Because on the 2026 electoral reform, as amended, the electronic transmission is not cast in stone that it must be done, because they said there can also be manual collation. So the reform for the 2026 Electoral Act has dealt with that. Or do you mean transmission of results at real-time, which is not in the electoral
Let
reform?
electronic voting come in, like the NBA, where I am.
Okay.
The election will come up, is it not this year? It's electronic voting. You can vote in your room.
Okay, but we don't have that just now. So we don't have that just now.
And you can't.
Are you saying in the nearest future?
Yes. If they can introduce that, you see that there will be a free and fair election to an extent. Because it work for NBA, I believe it can work for the country. If they allow it, if they don't sabotage it, as they even sabotage this electronic transmission, because they will say some, it doesn't work in so place, so place. If we really come together and come on that electronic voting, I believe we will have a good governor.
Okay, let's look at the aspect of protests.
Yes.
Because we've had it recently where those in opposition protested to the National Assembly and, of course, also in the streets of Abuja, over the aspect of not allowing the country to tilt towards a one-party state. How can the government of the day, or how can we posit it from the legal perspective, preventing protests to degenerating into what could be the unexpected?
The only way of that party system, the masses cannot be protesting concerning the one-party system, because in party system, it is not the fault of the government in power, people who run it to them. And as such, the law is not against you defecting or joining a dominant political party. The only thing is that if those Nigerians can reform the system by giving room to more political plurality in the country, whereby the also economic barrier will be removed by when all those people that are coming for a political party will not be asked to pay a very huge amount that they won't be able to register.
Okay, but no. But apart from that, before we get there, apart from that, are you saying that public interest protest is prohibited? Because basically we have.
No, it's not prohibited. It's allowed.
Okay, so in what way can it be tailored to improve the political landscape of the country, in terms of not degenerating into a one-party state? Can it be encouraged?
I believe the only way that can be encouraged, it is only when the government in power decided to ensure it's not doing all humanly possible to ensure those party wait in other opposition party coming to their party with one reason and the other. But whereby others are defecting, there's nothing he can do. It's only the government in power that can cope that. It is not the court cannot help on that issue.
Okay, what about
it's already unconstitutional, and the people that are defecting is on their own willingness. They are defecting to the dominant party.
Is public litigation allowed by the provisions of the law? In terms of public interest litigation, is public interest litigation allowed?
In area of creeping into one-party system?
Yes, because some persons may be interested in taking the court, as in taking the government to court. Or
if you are, yes, public
yes.
Interest would be...
Public interest litigation.
Public interest litigation could be involved in the sense that if you are in that party and you find out that that person is a party waiting in your party and it cross carpet without any reason, you can bring such action against such person.
No, apart from that, what about if such groups are against the government's tendencies in favoring the ruling party against the opposition? Can't public interest litigation come?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, but we see situations where the government could want to, coax such groups from seeing the light of the day.
No,
how do we protect that interest?
It's only court that have such power. Government cannot coerce them. Because litigation, you go to court and file, and the actions goes on. Government cannot be able to coerce anybody. You only coerce them maybe during that protest. Then maybe bribe them through, and the people will concede to whatever, anything, and withdraw their protest.
Okay.
But whereby they are serious, the pressure want to go on, they have a very good reason, because whoever that sat must prove. Then I think the court will hear them. very well.
Okay, let's have your final words on what can be done to prevent the country from tilting towards a one-party state. Your final words.
My final way is that the way the party can gear towards one-party state,
The way the country, you mean?
where the country can gear towards one-party state is when people are defecting or cross-carpeting to the dominant parties without reason. It will make them to gear towards a one-party state.
That's not only the reason. Coaxing the opposition is another issue.
Yeah, coercing the opposition is another reason. Then judiciary is another reason. Then economics barriers is another reason.
Okay, judicial independence could tackle that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fidelis Areye, for taking out and being part of this. We'll do the same time next week on Law and You. I am Philip Omo Gupo. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this week's edition of the program Environment Watch on Independent Television. It's a program specially designed to bring to you all you need to know in the world of environment, the problems, the challenges, the circumstances, and what action can be taken either at the level of government or at the individual level so we can find lasting solution. One of the environmental menaces every time is the challenge of flooding. Sometimes they are man-made, sometimes they are as a result of the nature of the environment where such floods emerge from. In today's program, our focus is going to be on the flood water that is emerging, resurfacing on the Benin-Lagos-Ugbo Expressway just by SRT Junction. This flood some years ago wasn't there. It came out, and then of course efforts was made just to ensure that the water was removed. But in recent times, the flood water is back again. Why is this so? It shows that commuters and motorists plying this Ugbo-Lagos road, particularly at this section, they are going to have a hectic time navigating through this flood, because most times when it rains and the water is at its full capacity, be rest assured that there's traffic gridlock and all of that. So we'll take a look at why this water has resurfaced here despite efforts to try to remove it in the past, and what can be done to ensure that the water never returns again. Welcome on board the program Environment Watch on Independent Television. I'm Sonny Duke Okosum. Barrack section of the Lagos-Ugbo Expressway is about 300 meters between the junction and of course the SRT barrack, where this flood has become a menace. Now, so 2 years back, this flood emerged, and actually some efforts were made by government to ensure that the water is, removed from the road. But today it is back. So what is the circumstances that is responsible for why this flood water is back? We'll find out in today's edition of the program Environment Watch on Independent Television. And when you look at this, why a lot of traffic buildup occurs in this place is because of the flood water. People just want to be sure that they can pass through this flood. And most people, when the flood is not, what you have is that at the end of the day, you buy people one way just to avoid the flood water. And ultimately, it brings about gridlock. Now, if you look at this right here, you can see the level the water gets up to this point. The water gets to this point when it goes to speed up. And for vehicles like this truck that you're seeing, yes, you can bulldoze its way up through because it's high. But for smaller vehicles that don't have that capacity, you rest assured that will be submerged in the flood, and at the end of the day, you have to go to the mechanic. But let's find out from the people here how this problem has been and how they've been surviving just to ensure that they live their life normally, even with this flood. As Ayo Idiage Street here at Ewomori, when we have this flood challenge, as you can see on this stretch of road, there's been an embankment here. This embankment was deliberately created by the community to ensure that the flood water doesn't get into this community. Alright, so just to cut off from the flood water. But you see, with this kind of scenario, the water really doesn't have the means to flow into this water, because the communities, they have created an embankment with the concrete just to ensure that their vehicles are safe, their houses are safe, and everything here is safe. So you want to ask the question, with this kind of embankment, where will the flood water go to? That's why they say water will always find its level. The water can't get into this community because to this street, because apparently there are no drains, And then the community have also, the residents of this street, they've carefully ensured that the water can flow into this street. Because if it does, that means they can't come out. That means their vehicles will be affected and their houses will be affected. So now you understand why this flood will be a permanent thing here, except something is done by government to address it. How you see this flood problem?
The road, they let us, they pass. If it's small rain, your shower. So even this area, everywhere just full up for water. Everywhere go cover. And the thing they cause a lot of accidents because if the road don't blow like this, they'll come they pass one way. The other last 2 weeks, they kill a bookie for you. That's 1 way. So many accidents. The thing that because so many accidents here. Even we were they say along the road here, the thing that affect us. Even why they say now, know they feel stay again because the water they affect us there. So it's not easy for us here.
Okay, but on this place now they use they block the water. May not they enter this street. How you see?
This thing already there since years ago. But I'm not sure say if like in front here they for block something. Okay. So that place where water they pass, get one go where water they pass, the water come block something come block am. So now I made the water come they full the road. If it's small rain just shower like this, you're not gonna know here again.
So what do you want to make government do?
May they help us if there is anything they can do. At least to channel the water go somewhere else or to dig something. Because the thing really they affect us.
But they dig somewhere for there before where the water there.
They block them. All those soldiers block them.
Oh, soldiers block them?
Yes, they block their own side there. So the water now no get where they go. Now just road here, now the water there.
The manhole there. Okay. So because when the water will fill up here, you now pass here to the barrack side. Yeah. And that place will fill up. So because of that, the barrack people now used to complain. They have to come and block it. Okay. So that since they block it now, the water cannot flow to the other side. Okay. So the water will store along the road here. So that's the problem we're having here. So we are begging if the government can come and help us, if they can open the hole back. And what the soldiers are saying now, if government can come and open that place and drain all the sand away so that they have enough space, so that the water will store, or build another one there. Apart that, they will not allow the water to pass through here.
So which means the pond that was created there is filled up because of silt and sand. Yes. So that's why the water cannot have space to enter.
Yes. So when that place now will feed up, the water will go to barrack. Okay. And we fund their fence. So because of that, they said they will no longer allow the water to flow to the barrack again. So they have to come and block it here.
Okay, how is this flood water problem? How is it affecting business here? Because I can see this is a wood market.
It's affecting us so much, because you can see a motor cannot enter through the entrance here. Look at our place. 3 days ago, we bought 2 trips of sand so that the fence will not fall. Because when there is a lot of erosion here, the vehicle can no longer enter here. So we are just living here by grace. So it's only, you can see that our place now is empty because vehicle cannot enter from the entrance because of the water. So I don't know. We don't know what to do. The only thing we are pleading government, it can do something to help us so that the vehicle can move freely, so that our business, if we come, customers will look into this place and say, let me enter and buy something. But for now, it's only God will help us. That's all I have.
But water, not see me at the dress. Water just spoil my thing. I don't even get house to enter because of erosion. May not help us.
But what because I noticed some time ago, this water not going to here. They dig hole for that side where water they enter. So what go happen?
Soldier na block am. They block am na my papa land na be that one. When they dance, merege. When they bomb me, they marry my mama. They block am. They come block here again. Overnight now they come block am. Soldier. This is SRT. Now they block am. They take am block am. Now make water no go come dey waka again. No na help us o. I no get another house mother that o. My papa my God dey for us. I don old. No fit waka. Myself I don old. Na water.
Around here.
I get this house.
You get
this house. My mother and I get and my shop did there.
Okay, what will be the problem?
Well, one day we just come early in the morning. We come, say soldier, they cross, carry tipper of granite, cement, what they call them? They come put them inside the hole when government dig for here. They say the water they dissolve and I then block them. So they can't say anybody will open and then they can't put soldier, make soldier they guide them if they open them. Since then and I water they enter. Now even this few period now we come the set block like this. If you reach inside my son now here water reach me last year. So this year and I will decide to the block and make it not the enter house again. If you reach house now, you need to come see.
This thing they cost for here not be small. And so far it has claimed so many lives because some drivers go want to escape this thing. They go to follow one way. Unknowingly to whoever they cross, looking one side, it has taken so many lives. So please, if there's anything the government can do to at least channel the water, make here go down. Not see the way we all they do our own places now. At least make the water not they come cause damages again because the damages is much. That's our plea to the government to do something about it.
So we're still here at the S&T section of the Benin-Ubo-Lagos Expressway, where this flood water has become a huge menace and a problem to inhabitants of this area. And just to ensure that the water doesn't flow into this sawmill and several other businesses here, the owners of this shop have resorted to self-help. And as you can see here, these are strips of sand that was placed here just to create that embankment and prevent the water from flowing into these premises. And this is another strip of sand here by these owners of business here, just to ensure that the water doesn't flow in. And if you look through this stretch, you will see the embankment created with blocks just to prevent the water from flowing in here. And you know, like we say, water will always find its level. When the flood is heavier than this, be rest assured that the water will spill over into these premises and then frustrate businesses. And then look at this stretch of the road as well. This is an embankment created by the owners of these business premises, particularly the wood place here where they sell wood. And then you have a long stretch of blocks all the way through to that side just to ensure that they can stop the flow of water into these premises. So the water can't go this way, and so naturally it will come to the road. And when it comes to the road, commuters will be affected, businessmen will be affected, vehicles will be affected, everyone will be affected. So we've got to have a way around finding a permanent solution to this flood water. But let's take some more interviews from some of the business owners or shop owners in this area, how this challenge is affecting them and what government can do to salvage it. Please come along. How often do you ply this road?
Every day.
Okay. What do you make of this flood that has been here? I mean, it wasn't here before. All of a sudden we are seeing it back here. How is it affecting your business?
It's affecting my business drastically, seriously, to the extent that sometimes they hold up on this because of this water is something else. And if I'm not mistaken, by now this water have started spoiling this road gradually. And government have nothing to do about it. Whereas in some cases, all this is supposed to be to provide solution to it for further this but give this registries have not even started. And look at the amount of the water here. So we think the government need to do something, please.
Finding a solution to this flood menace here at this section of the Benin-Ubo-Lagos Expressway may just be an easy thing to do. And in that regards, some time ago, this pond was created, an artificial pond, I would say, was created here so you can have the water drain from this side of the road into this place. And it worked perfectly well because for a while, we actually didn't see flood water here. And just to let you know into some of the challenges that could come, we can see this vehicle now is stuck here. Vehicle is stuck inside this water, apparently as a result of the impact of the flood water on the engine. But to tackle this problem, an artificial pond was created so that the water can flow from this side into this pond. But what you have here is now, as you can see, the pond is already filled to the brim. You can understand that this is possible because the silt, the sand, plastic bottles, name it, they have filled up the pond. So the water doesn't have anywhere to go. Under this circumstance, what you should expect is what is happening here. The water will naturally flow back to the road and then create more harm, create more problem like we are saying. We're hoping that government will swing into action and find a permanent solution to the flood water on this axis, particularly now that the momentum of the rainy season is building. And I'm sure that at the peak of the rainy season, this is certainly going to get worse. There has to be a synergy between the community here at Womori and the S&T barracks to ensure we find a permanent solution. Many of the people we spoke to today said the channel from that side of the road into the pond has been blocked by the army people in the barrack. And also understand that if it wasn't blocked, like we've seen in the last couple of days, some of the complaints, the barrack is also not safe, because we've had instances in the past where water flowed into the barrack and destroyed a lot of things. I mean, everybody wants to protect his own side, protect their property, their vehicles, their assets, and what have you. So we're hoping that government will swing into action.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
This is Anegbete community situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set rolled out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbeide Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in Okada town, the initiates, led by Chief Elder Ogbeide Onwonse, visited the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, at his Okada country home residence to pay homage and appreciate him for all he has done in the development of the community, which has placed Okada in world map. They also thanked him for his role in the success of their ceremony. They commended the Esama of Benin as a custodian of Benin cultural heritage and for revitalizing the age-long tradition of the age-grade ceremony.
Certainly the best.
Hello viewers, welcome to Viewpoints on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji, and today on Viewpoint we're going to be talking about the current electricity issues and situations that we as business owners, as individuals are facing in Nigeria, as over 80% of households lack adequate access to grid, as Nigeria's electricity sector suffers from chronic liquidity trap and infrastructural decay, leading to frequent national grid collapses, with generation dropping below 4,200 megawatts, far short of the 4,000 megawatts required for its citizens and population. It is a Viewpoint on ITV, and we're going to be looking at some of the key issues affecting our electricity sector in Nigeria. I am Caroline Okonji.
In terms of security of it, we need light. And based on that, in some areas, it makes it difficult for us when we are on patrol at night. And we are even begging the state government to try and do something, at least by supplying street lights in some area that are dark in the night. In most cases in our community, there are places that is very dangerous, that without light we cannot do anything of such. For so doing, we want, as a matter of urgency, the Edo State government to try and do the needful, so that the security will be okay for us, so that we can be able to work effectively.
The issue of NEPA issue that you came from is very rapid to us, in the sense that the NEPA look as if we are not a citizen of Nigeria, because since a month there's no light in us. We have been passing through. Which NEPA, anytime they came, a minute or 30 minutes to, they will come and bring the light to us. That is, we are not expecting them to come and collect their bill. Indirectly, we are expecting bill from them to come and collect it. Within that hour or 2 hours, you will see a number of people with a ladder. They will come. They will come. And after their collection, there is nothing like light again. They will block us up. I think before we have this light, they mandated us to buy a meter, which we bought individual. We pay through the NDC, we have our transformer here, not through NEPA. Before we got out this light, they mandated us to write an application of submitting it to the NEPA as a will to them. And we work for it. And we should not claim ownership. And we fought for the transformer. And after that, again, they came that there is no oil in it. We pay up to 1 point something a day. Before. After all that, they came up again, said it was meter issue again, that every community, every houses have to have a meter, which we did. We have to. I have my own receipts. I have my paper meter in my residential house here. So after all that again, they came up with a past bill. We, before we make that transformer, got that transformer, we've been glad out for 10 years here. They came with a bill to us again that we need to pay a standing bill. We went to Testament, their office there. After we left the one at the bypass, they were delivering us. Before they now refer us to the one at bypass. I don't want to mention name of the manager there. Got in there again. He said we have to go for all those things. We need to fulfill the things we did. After that, they now on the light for us. As they on the light, not up to a month, we were still in blackout again. So at the end of it, we went again. They said it was according to them that the electric wiring merge. That was the cause that they now cut us off again from Iyowa again, which we not pay. We need that amount again. The Chiri community, which is the Kabetu, Igbo Beme, and Igwe Kimi. After that, they brought a light for a week again. After a week, they cut us off again. They said Iyowa is owing. We now went to the office again and told them that if Iyowa is owing, does that mean it affects our community? We are blackout. So I told you this. So before we sort all those things out, we have already made up our mind. We can do away with our neighbor. When our father was living with a lamp and all these things, we were enjoying it. We cannot be paying for what we are not using. We cannot be paying for what we are not using. So if they feel they want to cut us off from this NEPA issue, they should cut everybody off totally, so that we will know that we are not with NEPA. Not that after 3 weeks, they will not bring a light under 2 hours or 3 hours. They will come and collect their money. It's unfair to the masses.
The electricity issues and challenges that BEDC in the state is devastating, in the sense that as a minister, I suffer a lot in terms of electricity. As an individual, not only me, the entire people of Edo State, and not only in Edo State, Nigeria as a whole, we are really facing electricity challenge in the country, in the sense that we are not getting constant light. Even though the tariff of electricity is high, people don't even get the light. I don't know how the government will enhance constant light for the Nigerian people, especially in Edo State here. We are seeing the government are not taking a proactive step towards this direction. But if the government will be able to ensure that people are paying for electricity and they are not getting electricity, government should take a drastic step in this direction by making sure if people have constant light, people will want to pay for it. But a situation where you don't see light, at the end of the month you see BEDC personnel coming to people's house to come to cut lights, is really a problem. My major concern is that let them provide us electricity and people will pay for it. But a situation whereby we don't have constant light, out of 24 hours, people cannot boast of 3 hours light in a day. It's a problem that we are really facing. People who are doing business cannot do business effectively. People who are doing business, they want to make sure their food stuff does not get spoiled. Nobody can preserve their food again. Even though they cook, you cannot preserve it. Even though electricity for our artisans to work, they cannot get electricity to empower their equipment in order to boost productivity for the entire society. It is really a problem. The state of electricity in our country, in our state, is very poor. Very, very poor. We don't know how government is creating effectiveness on this aspect. We say Nigeria is generating electricity and the neighborings are getting electricity, and the people that are in this country are not benefiting it. Nigerians, we are crying. As a person, I am crying. We don't say as an individual we don't want to pay for electricity. We are not saying that they should give us light for free, but let them make light available and let people pay for it.
They often tell us the national grid is collapsed. So ultimately, it's to develop enough capacity, the whole process of generation, distribution, and the rest of it. And then the enabling law. The happy thing recently is that they have said it's deregulated. State governments and private investors can now enter the electricity market, generate and sell. So we do hope that will be a great deal of improvement, because without electricity, really, we are going to remain in the Stone Age. We cannot industrialize. Even domestically, we cannot have the comfort we should derive from electricity. We should consider all the options, whether the new sources like wind, solar in our country, so that we're able to generate enough for our consumption. The darkness is cover for any kind of nefarious activity. Yeah, so if the place is not well lit or substantially lit up, people can ordinarily hide under the cover of darkness to perpetrate just anything, not just robbery, kidnapping, and whatever you have. Yeah. Don't also forget that we now have private investors. The government doesn't have so much to do with electricity anymore, apart from regulation. So they also have to maximize their profit. So it may have been a mistake in the first instance, divesting from electricity at the level of government.
Let me talk about the state where I live, where I reside. The total blackout is nothing to write up about. We really suffer when it comes to light. Edo is suffering. I think our governor is trying to, we have to do more. Our Excellency, Senator Monday, our governor of Edo Executive Government, we have to do more when it comes to that light issue. We are suffering. There are some of us who can provide electricity for ourselves, solar and all that. Maybe a generator, this was the case, but not everybody. And so at this junction, I think it is expedient that our governor looks straight into this issue and solve this problem. What would I call it? I don't know the right English to use. The right English right now, we have serious problem when it comes to light. Businesses are going down. Those selling drinks, those who have koro, without generator, you can't do anything. And the J is on the high side. Those small jewelry, those are better person. Our neighbor used to buy them 30,000, 10,000. Now you can't buy it. Then the other one is the Tiger and the LMX 1 point something for ordinary generator. So it doesn't make any sense at all. So we're begging on our executive governor, the governor that knows what to do, to please to look into us and save us from darkness. Then when it comes to these funny BDC people, we're raising a child that came from the US and the others. The first thing they learned in Nigeria is NEPA don't bring light. Children brought from abroad, NEPA don't bring light. Can you imagine such? And so these funny people, 2 days, they'll bring the light on and off for 2 days. The next thing they'll come with their estimated billing. They start dragging people, wires and all that. It's high time. I think it's high time we stand our ground and let them know that we're not fools. We are Nigerians. We all own this nation. It belongs to nobody. It belongs to nobody and it's for everybody. We should stand our ground and fight for our rights. This year, but may they pack, may they go. NEPA still better pass. You can't go out at night when there is no light. The security issue is what the government is trying. I may cannot chrome them in one day, but we individual too. Like the police used to say, see something, say something. But sometimes when you say something, they use you as a bait, and so we need to. Edo State government need to give us security as well. Nightlife in Benin is almost gone. But I also want to say kudos to our governor. For the first time, December free of bloodshed. It was wonderful. Look, we have most of our people in Nigeria right now, those living in diaspora, those living abroad. Many of them came December and this January. And they came and they're enjoying it. So I believe our excellent governor Our Excellency can do more about that to give us more security. Like those if you're traveling from Benin to Akure, Benin to Ifon, those roads are no go area at night. You can't date. So I believe with all hands on deck and our governor and the police, our CP, let's hope and pray for our action governor to do something about insecurity.
ADDC, since they came in, I don't think they have done well by my own assessment. And darkness is synonymous with demonic things. And they have thrown their city into darkness, Benin City, and Edo State as it were, is in darkness. And I think that the government should step into the matter to do something about the situation. Because the way I look at it is that, for me, I think it is deliberate. Because there are some areas that have light, they call it dedicated light. So why can't everybody have the same light? Because there are areas for 2 weeks no light, for 1 month no light. Some people have 3 hours a day, some people have 1 hour. And if they bring light in these 20 years, so people shout, hey, they'll be saying up NEPA instead of up BERC, which is BEDC. So the thing is that government should step in and help us. People are dying, and most people are paying for darkness. They go there, they threaten people, they bring light when it is wanted for 3 days, 2 hours, 3 days, they come and collect money and they shut it down again. So I think the government should step in. If they are going to be thrown out, they should be thrown out and bring people who can give us light, who are ready to pay. It was privatized. That was a good intention by government, but the people that did it, I'm sure they gave it to their cronies who does not know anything about the management of light, and that's why we are where we are. It has really hampered nightlife because you don't work in darkness, and the only thing that is helping us now is this solar that people put everywhere, and some persons that have money to buy diesel and buy fuel. It's not everybody that has that kind of money, so it has really disturbed or hampered nightlife. But government is trying to bring it back by putting street light and everything. So we commend them. We pray that God will give government more power, more strength, more wisdom to do what they have to do. And there's individuals are also trying by helping to lighten up everywhere. So we praise them. But for BEDC, I think they should go. Make better people.
The situation of electricity in Benin here now, I will give them at least 30%. They don't give up to 50% from areas. But I wish the government can improve, because if you see what will happen to us now, we all they use our hand to define electricity. Some of us will go generator for us, some of us will get solar, some of us will go generate big blister. All these people will get like hotel. So I wish the government will really improve for electricity. All those generators will become condemned for our hand. You understand? So people no go dey go for it. That money, now they need to put, because that energy, that light will really need that. If light dey for this, imagine if you come for here for Silok Road now, government already put light, but in the evening, everywhere will be dark. So where there is light, everything, even the security aspect of itself, anything concerning light is too plenty. Maybe one particular, so we need light. If I come out for office now, if light no dey, we go buy generator. At least from office, I dey buy at least, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 every day for sure. Imagine a times 1 month, na big money, and na money. From there, I will come see look at it, make we come here say we want to go for solar. Make we use solar to stabilize them, because solar dey give us more, make savings from the fuel aspect of it. So if you get light, nothing like light, your light can carry AC, can carry everything for us. And to the noise, no go even give you that noise issue. So we prefer light more than any other thing.
The light is our problem. We are suffering for light. You can see our business. Without light, we cannot improve. We need light. The show of light is because it's very, very, very low. I don't know if you're getting it. Very low. We need light. The show of light in Edo State is very poor. Patronage is very low. You can see we import fuel at least every day 10,000, 15,000 a day. But you can stay 2 days, 3 days, no light. The show of business is very, very, very low. Very low. So we are begging government to improve on light aspect. That light, you cannot sell bulb, you cannot sell fan. You understand? When you have light, you prepare to buy fan. Not everybody can provide solar for his house. Actually, we need light.
Electricity
in Benin City or in Edo State has been with mixed feelings, because to some they will give the positive nod that they are faring well with the supply of electricity, but with some become so epileptic of recent. Me personally, I have discovered that we are not paying for what we get, or we don't get what we pay for. The reason being that the regulatory body that's supposed to task the BEDC are not doing enough to satisfy a customer by way of ensuring that you get what you pay for. For those who are using prepaid meter, there are reports that suggest that even the prepaid meter is even overbilling or overcharging consumers, as against what the government is telling us. Only recently we discovered that the BDC keep complaining that the the generation company is not supplying them what they ought to get, which will in turn affect the consumer. And even at a point they also raise the issue of federal government owing them. But just recently the federal government has paid a huge sum of money to liquidate what they are owing this distribution company. But looking at the experience of consumer in terms of the electricity supply, it is so appalling. They will either give you excuse of faulty transformer, which they left for the consumer to contribute money to fix, whereas it is supposed to be the onus of BDC to fix the transformer so that they can in turn supply electricity to the consumer who pay for that service. It's like you are buying a recharge card. I am not sure that the recharge card you buy is what they give you. It varies from quarter to quarter. It varies from consumer to consumer. For example, for those who have been using the analog or the estimated billing, you will discover that whatever they bring, which is not subject to negotiation, by the time you now procure your own prepaid meter, they will bring everything inside the bill and begin to roll out deductions arbitrarily without consulting with the consumer. Even the estimated billing they brought was not even discussed by the consumer. So, and there is nobody that is there to advocate for the consumer or to leverage on the complaints. Nobody to complain to. So that makes it very, very heartbreaking. So for me, I believe the federal government and indeed the lawmaker, the National Assembly, should set up a body where consumer can run to and lay their complaints, so that there can be an equilibrium between the consumer and the BDC, for example.
To wrap it up on Viewpoint on ITV, we're going to be highlighting some of the key issues that was actually mentioned by our respondents, which some said it is as a result of poor maintenance, gas supply shortage, and poor metering, just to list but a few. And the government at all levels, they are expected to do the needful and do the right thing to ensure steady power supply for citizens in order to boost means of livelihood, especially for business owners in the country. It is Viewpoints on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji.
ITV, certainly the best.
Ugeni Madonna, Imazedion, Orero, Obesni Agbo, Emanazo, or Ugeni Madonna.
You will have to update you Odion title. Then by then you are one of the elder.
This year now, we don't read the year, so that's why we can do this year.
Historically, joining the Elders Council, an individual must have reached a certain age and must have made significant contributions to the community through leadership, service, or other meaningful ways. There was jubilation in the community as sons and daughters of Okada, both at home and in the diaspora, trooped out to be part of the ceremony, with various homes of the initiates agog with festivities. Friends and well-wishers of those initiated into the Elders Council jubilated at the Ogwedion after performing all traditional rites. The elders, known as Edion, in company with their loved ones, danced to their various homes where guests and family members were entertained.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good afternoon and welcome to an amazing Friday afternoon here in the studio. It is Itches and Voices. And remember, Itches and Voices is brought to you by NABVID, Network for the Advancement of Persons with Visible Disabilities. And also, happy Workers' Day to all the workers across Nigeria. I hope the Friday is going amazingly well for you. For a couple of weeks now, we've been talking about the current fuel hike and how it's affecting persons with disabilities. But we've not yet touched on how it's affecting students with disabilities, and that's what we'll be doing in the studio today. Our guest for today is Mr. Chinemere David, and he's a teacher in the special schools for kids, and also is also the chairperson for the Association of Technology Inclined Visually Impaired in Nigeria, the Edo State chapter. And to do justice to our hearing impaired community, we have Mrs. Cynthia Godwin Aya, who is our sign language interpreter. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Chinemere.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, for us to dive straight into the conversation, can you please introduce yourself to us and what you do properly?
Well, my name, like you've said, is Chinemere David Iwala. I'm a teacher currently at School for the Visually Impaired here in Benin City. Also, I am the chairman of Association of Technology Inclined Visually Impaired Persons of Nigeria, Edo State chapter.
Okay, that's amazing. Can you also just give us a little bit into what your association is about? Just a quick intro.
Basically, just like the name implies, we are a technology inclined association that tries to say how we could leverage on technology, either modern or traditional technology, to see how we could equip our people to empower them for today's world. Basically, that's just what we do.
So that means you guys work with students with disability also?
Everybody.
Okay. Yeah, now diving into the matter of the current fuel hike, I feel like it's a topic that is on everybody's lips, and it's a matter of concern. So can you tell us, before this current fuel hike, what is the challenges or one of the challenges that students with disabilities face, maybe coming to school in the process of learning and maybe in their daily lives as students before the fuel hike? Can you give us an insight of what some of the challenges they face?
You know, like I say always, another word for disability is limitation. So, which means for the mere fact that somebody is already going about with a form of disability or not, shows that that person is already facing some very severe challenges, other than what every other able-bodied person, like we'll try to call them, faces. So, ordinarily, a person with disability is already facing challenges. If I have to go somewhere, for instance, I would need a sighted person to aid me or assist me to the place. And that will mean an extra cost for me. So now we're talking about the spike in the price of petrol due to the Iran-US war, the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and all of that. You could see that it becomes even worse because one of the first things it affects is transportation price. And just like it is with with every other person, transportation we've discovered have gone higher, maybe by 100 or 200, 300, 500, depending on the location or the distance you are to cover. So, naturally, disability in itself comes with some very severe challenges.
Like what and what for students with disability now, to be specific?
Commuting to school. Okay. Commuting to school. You know, it became very, very serious. If you see like when we took, what will I call it now? When we tried to understudy what happened when they relocated us, for instance, we were at a place, though we've been promised now we'll be taken back, and that is a temporary measure. We were located from our former location at Iviore Primary School, that was close to St. Augustine, around that Ukege area. We were located to Uwa Primary School and Izevige, which is along First. And you could see that from then on, it became extremely very challenging because many pupils had to drop out because of the extra costs that they had to pay coming to school. Many pupils had to drop out. So that if you even check our books, you'll see that we had a reduced student attendance in school from then on until now. It's maybe now some people are we're trying to find a way around the whole situation, and maybe some are beginning to come back and all of that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So now that the current fuel hike is an issue currently, so what is there a different challenge that has been faced by the students, or is it the same? Is there a difference?
Of course, of course. It naturally follows that it's just like, for instance, most of our pupils are from remote parts of Edo State. We have pupils from Igara, we have pupils from Urumi, Irwa, and all of those other parts, Oronigbe, all other parts of Edo State. So now it's a no-brainer. Let's just try to estimate how much it will cost to bring somebody from Igara, the capital of Akoko Edo, for instance, or Auchi. How much the price is now. And that person will have to come because this, for instance, is a primary school, which will mean that, oh, these are young people. Yes. These are young persons. So that person, you cannot leave a child. Well, I have a child in my school who's just 7. She's just 7 years. And she comes from, is it Opoji? Yeah, something Opoji. Oh. That child definitely cannot come herself. She will have to come, sometimes she comes with her grandmother or one of her aunties or something. So that child will have to come with an extra person. So you can imagine how much it is now. So naturally, even without thinking too much, you just discover that, of course, that puts an extra burden on the person's already strained finances.
Yes, that's very true. But is there something that the school is doing currently to help, the school or the institution, to help these students?
You know, there's another danger will come from somebody who's being carried on the back cannot carry on that person. The school itself needs help. So how can the school who needs help the pupils? The most we can do is to try to see how we could advocate, call on well-spirited individuals, corporate organizations who have persons with disability at heart, and maybe the government, to try to see how we could help some of these pupils. I personally, I have to solicit cash from my friends to even transport some of my pupils sometimes home or back from school or back from home. Yes, personally, I've done that in the past. So, except we just want to go out of our way personally to do some of those things. The school does not have any structured plan or any of all of those resources to be able to carry out that kind of activity.
Well, the thing is that what you just mentioned now is also a means of helping. Even though it is not well structured, it's still a means, and I'm sure that you're not the only teacher who is going this extra means to help some of those students. But then you made mention.
But the problem with that is that's not sustainable.
Very true.
That's not sustainable.
That's true.
If, for instance, I do not have enough at the time, or all of the teachers are just faced with some kind of financial challenge at the time.
Yes.
So the question is, what do we do? So we have to look for sustainable measures to try to see how we could always get these people
to school. Because for me, I just don't see another way a person with visual impairment in particular, or persons with disabilities in general, can go about life without education.
Yes.
For me, education is a leveler. Education is a leveler. If you, the most sure, the best pathway I feel for persons with disabilities to be able to come out of the shackles of poverty, for me, is simply education. There could be other ways, but
that's like the number one.
That's like the number one.
Okay,
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. My boss, Barrister Melody, will always say that education is a leveler. When you
Yeah.
said it, that is one of his favorite words,
Yeah.
because a lot of times people act like persons with disabilities are liabilities, but education is a way to even change that. Despite
Exactly.
the fact that is a stereotype. Education
Yeah.
is one way to change that. And I'm going back to what you said about the school. You mentioned the fact that the school on its own needs some things. Can you help us with some of the things that are like shortage in the school, some of the challenges that the school is facing itself? Or let's say special school generally, like some of the things or challenges that they might have that is quite different from the normal school, or if I should put it that way.
Yeah, I think now we're talking about the spike in the price of petrol because of the crisis and all of that. So the immediate thing would be that the school needs, like our school, for instance, used to have a bus.
Okay.
But it's been very challenging. Something's happened recently, and that bus is no longer, has not been on the road for more than 2 years now.
Wow. That's a long
So,
time.
also very importantly too, I think these whole special schools in Edo State needs a boarding facility, needs accommodation. That is a very pressing need. Something I think whether corporate organizations, whether government, just need to find a way around. Very seriously, the special schools in Edo State need boarding facility. It's very, very important. Because people's commuting to school every day, it's quite very risky. Very risky, especially for persons with visual impairment. We've had stories of where persons with visual impairment were either hit by a vehicle or fell into a drainage or something. You could imagine sometimes, we're about approaching the rainy season now. That makes it even more challenging. So, very importantly, and as a pressing need, the school needs accommodation, like a boarding facility.
Okay, well, I really wasn't referring to the accommodation and body facility now. I was talking more of like
materials we need in school.
Yes, like the school outside persons, outside the kids now, like the school itself. But then you made mention, before we go back to that, you made mention of the rainy season coming, and it just drew my mind back to a situation where some kids, I think a child drowned during the rainy season when they were coming back from school. It just throws more light to how this transportation or a means of transporting for these kids is very important, because these are special kids and they need them. But then I think we need to do more justice to that. Can you throw more light on the means of transportation or accommodation as a way to rectify the current challenges that are being faced as a means of this fuel hike?
You know, I would not want to talk too much without preferring solutions.
Okay.
I'm thinking in my head while we were having this conversation that maybe in the short run, I'm thinking in the short term, the government should find a way to maybe talk to maybe all these public government-owned transport companies. I am aware Edo State, for instance, has a Edo line.
Yeah.
Like those who are coming from other parts or very far distance, maybe if they are able to show cause that they are persons with disability and they are pupils, maybe the government should be able to talk to all of these people if they could bring them down free of any cost. That's in the short term. In the long term, I'm thinking that persons with disability should have a disability identity card with which they can access government services, whether at very subsidized cost or free of cost completely. I don't think that's too much for the government to do.
Actually.
Because the question we always ask is, how many are we? How many are we? We are a very infinitesimal percentage of the entire population. So I'm thinking that the government this is something that they can do for persons with disability to assist. Or like it is, for instance, in Lagos, you are aware of the BRT buses. If a person with disability gets on the BRT buses, you are paying no dime. You're not paying a dime for getting on the BRT bus. So government should look at things like this to cushion the effect. For instance, I am a teacher and I'm a person with visual impairment. If transportation is taken away, if the cost of transportation is taken away from the money I have to spend from time to time, of course that will help me a lot, for instance, and other persons with visual impairment and disability too.
Okay, so we're going to come back to that, but right now we will be going on a very short break. We did an interviewing a couple of persons, including teachers and advocates for the disability community, to talk on this same matter, on how the current fuel hike is affecting students with disability. So we're going to play it right now and we'll be right back. Thank you.
With the recent fuel hike, we spoke to educators and disability advocates to understand its impact on students with disabilities, and here's what they had to say.
I am Chinemerem David Iwala, the chairman of Association of Technology Inclined Visually Impaired Persons of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter.
Good day, everybody. My name is Igudu Clara. I'm a teacher.
My name is Ignoma Yorobosa Timothy, a member of Nigeria Association for the Blind, Edo State Chapter, and the Edo SAC coordinator, NAB.
It's having a huge impact on them. You see, as a child with visual impairment, specifically, a child needs the assistance of the parents or a guardian, and that will require paying for two persons. So if they're supposed to pay 300 naira, for example, a person, 600 for two of them, it will not require maybe 500 naira for one person, making it 1,000. And now the parents will have to drop the child in school, go back. When the child closes from school, the parents will have to come back. So imagine how much the parents will have to pay to bring the child to school. The parents will go back, then come back again to pick that same child back home before going to wherever he or she is working. So it's a huge challenge. It's having so much effect on them. And my prayer is that this hiking should not affect these children's academics.
Clearly, without even racking your brain, you will know that for persons with visual impairment, it's going to be an extra burden on their finances. Because these people are already strained. You already know there's just a natural price in the cost of transportation when you're commuting around town. And what makes it more interesting is that many of the people who come to school in Benin come from other parts of Edo State. There are some who come from the Edo Central part, there are some who come from Edo North, and you can imagine what it would be on the already strained finances of their parents, for instance. So for us as visually impaired persons, you will know that already, automatically, it's already an extra cost for us.
Thank you very much. We say these fuel increments are really affect a person with disability, most especially students. You see, for example, a parent is bringing his or her child to school now. He or she will first of all come with the child to school before going back. Coming back again in the afternoon to come and pick that same child. Where you normally take a vehicle before 200 naira, it's now 500 naira, 600 naira. And because of this now, most parents, to eat 3 square meals is difficult. Talk of affording those transport. The thing is really biting hard on the community, person with disability.
And by way of recommendation, I would suggest that just like it is in Lagos and other parts of the world, or you see all over the world, because of this increment in the price of petrol, for instance, many countries all over the world have been putting measures. So by way of recommendation, I would suggest that maybe for students or persons with disability, for maybe public buses, transportation should be totally free or subsidized for them. Or in the long run, we like to ask that accommodation be provided for especially students. I think that is a very pressing need. It's been on for a while. We're trying to see how we could push that accommodation so that these people don't have to travel far to come to school on a daily basis.
Well, the way forward in all this is for the relevant authority to please look into boarding facility for persons with disability, so that the student will have a hostel where they can stay and learn effectively, so that the burden of coming from home will be reduced from the part of the parents, because many children are at home because of low boarding facility.
These insights reflect the real challenges faced by the disability community, with students with disabilities being even more affected. This also highlights the need for a more inclusive and thoughtful support.
Back from the break, one common thing that everybody was saying is how a subsidized means of transportation, maybe with buses, should be made available for students, and also the need for accommodation to be made available for students with disabilities. And sir, we would want you to maybe in a few words, is there any other thing you would like to add to the things that they've said already?
Nothing much to be added, but research has shown that there is a correlation between poverty and disability. And I would want to appeal to the conscience of well-meaning individuals and the government that somebody is already facing some kind of challenge because of a disability is enough. Now depriving that person of the chance of being educated becomes even worse. So please, we are appealing that on the basis of the price hike in petroleum products, no child should be denied a chance at getting educated. So all hands must be on deck to ensure that we'll find a way to cushion this effect that this hiking transportation price has on persons with disabilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You've spoken very well throughout the session. And also, lastly, I would like to say that the main thing right now is providing, as I've said earlier, a means of accommodation and also a means of transportation. It is what we've been singing throughout today's session for students with disability. And as we're bringing this series to a close on the fuel hike and how it's affecting persons with disability, I would like to say that there is a need for us to put persons with disabilities in decisions that matter when it comes to fuel hike or every single economic decision that is being made in our country, as they are also a huge part of our society. And to wrap this up, I'll be saying again, happy Workers' Day to all our workers across Nigeria, and remember, spot a each and be a voice. Thank you.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is Anegbete community, situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete. In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set roll out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
Top on the list of the initiates was the eldest son of the Esama of Benin and former governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakare Igbenedion. 11 of his siblings, namely Bright Ayamekwe Igbenedion, Honorable Charles Osemwige Igbenedion, Peter Osawari Igbenedion, Dr. Fred Osanwi Igbenedion, Barrister Mike Osarene Igbenedion, Efosa Douglas Igbenedion, Ukponwa Enes Igbenedion, Osawe Igbenedion, Edosa Igbenedion, Dr. Daniel Omorige Igbenedion, Agbon Steve Igbenedion, as well as the Executive Director Operations, ITV and Radio, Chief Elder Ugbeide Nwonse. It was a vital aspect of Okada community's cultural heritage, which emphasized the significance of age, responsibility, and community service. Over 50 notable sons of Okada were also initiated. According to tradition and customs, those initiated, dressed in white traditional attire, were made to undergo some rituals, while the Odionwe pronounces blessings on them and assisted them to take a seat with the elders.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Welcome to the program Youth Perspective on Independent Television. I'm your host, Joy Obaisiagbon, and you know how we do it here. We talk about societal matters from the youth perspective. Today is no different. Today we're looking at love and dating in the modern era. Actually, submission and obedience. Is it the same thing or is it not? So today I'll be having this conversation with my guest, David Isene. Thank you very much, David, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for inviting Joy. It's lovely to be here with you.
I look forward to having a very wonderful conversation with you.
It's a very interesting topic.
You look like you have a lot to say.
Let's see.
Okay, all right, let's get right into the conversation. So for you, David, obedience and submission, do you think it's the same thing? For this our generation now, you know, talking about dating and, you know, love in this era.
Well, I would be a liar if I say that there is no no difference between what we used to know or what our parents knew and what we face now. Obviously, there is a big difference in the fact that we even have to speak about it in a show is a proof that there is a difference.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Because I don't think it was a topic before, you know, in the time of our parents. I don't think they sat down to, you know, have this kind of conversations. I know it tells that certain things have, you know, changed over time, or certain things have been revolted against, you know, as against the way it used to be. So personally, for the question, I think that there is a difference from what used to be and what is now.
Okay, for you, what is submission? What does submission mean to you?
For me, well, I would say, first of all, if I'm going to speak from the normal English explanation of submission.
Of course, English.
it's like delegating your authority to someone else.
Okay.
You know, like, we need to first emphasize the fact that probably the person has a certain authority, but he chooses not. It's a matter of choice. You know, chooses not to use that authority, or chooses not to wield the authority, and gives it to someone, you know, to wield the authority over the person. Naturally, we would say that every man that is born has a freedom, a certain freedom, as regards especially matters of choice and decision making. You know, your ability to not use those decisions and someone else is using it over you is actually submitting to another person's authority. So we can say submission is a matter of bending for someone else to speak over, and then you follow. So it's like giving yourself over to leadership of another person.
So relating that to today's dating, the modern, this era of dating and love, can you, relating it to that, do you think it actually influences, does it contradict to your own definition of submission, like having to give authority? Do you think that this generation, we can actually do that?
Well, I believe that this generation, we are capable of many things.
Okay.
We are capable of doing it and capable of not doing it. Like we already established, every man is given a freedom of choice at the beginning. Personally, if it's on my own personal note or account of my own beliefs, you know, the way we were raised and all, we don't even talk about matters of submission as regards things like relationship or dating. We talk about it in matters of marriage. The way we were raised. You know, we speak about, because now, first of all, my faith speaks about wives submitting to their husbands, not wives or women submitting to men. It says their husband. It means if the title husband is not there, we shouldn't even be talking about the matter of submission. Now, basically, from the whole standpoint and view of the way, you know, things were before our time, or the way we were raised, the male figure, because when we're speaking about relationship, obviously it's between man and woman, so the male figure has a role. Every gender or every part of a relationship between the two of them have a role, you know, characteristics or obligations in certain homes. And one of the most paramount obligation of a male, you know, gender in a marriage is to lead.
Okay, to lead.
Yes, to lead. And we were raised, and we have seen over time that many a times how the man chooses to lead the home determines where the home goes to. So if you are not in that journey of marriage with someone that knows where he's going to, you are definitely going to crash. You know, it's just an accident waiting to happen, basically. So we know that the job of the man, according to the way we were raised, is leadership. So therefore, when he's married to a woman, the beliefs and the teachings say that the lady should allow him lead. You understand? To allow him to lead, and in so doing that, it means submitting her own authority to him to lead.
Okay, you mentioned that the paramount objective of the male gender, or rather the male character in a marriage, let's not use relationship because it has not been established that they are actually, you know, legal. So in a marriage setting, if the man's objective is to lead, according to what you said, do you think it actually affects how he regards the woman, how he respects her, or something like that?
Well, it shouldn't really affect. Now, if we are still going to follow the standpoint of where we were raised, the option is, the instruction rather, or the model is, husbands, love your wives. And that love there stands for sacrifice, basically. In fact, according to the standpoint of the belief or the model given to us, the job of the man is even more than that of the woman, according to the proper model. Now, it's when you just look at things, and because of the way things have been over the years, because we found out that people, they actually they spoil them. Okay. People. I was raised in somewhere in the south, where the relationship between husband and wife is quite infuriating. Okay. What do you mean? Okay, I was raised, like I said, somewhere in the south, I won't call the place, but being in that environment, I saw certain things, and I will give a graphic description of it. So the way I will say is that some people that are from that place will understand that it's the place I'm talking about. You see that in the morning like this, maybe early in the morning, you see that the woman, gets up, takes care of the children, and by children I mean one in the hand, one on the back. Okay, so she takes care of the children, puts one in hand, puts one in back, takes the one in hand to school. Then as she's packaging them, she's taking care of her husband, and then she picks up what we call head pan. Now head pan is what we used to carry cement, for building sites. So she picks up a head pan, holds it on one hand, holds one child on one hand, puts one on the back, and then sets out for the daily bread. Crazy. Now she gets to the site, she walks, puts cement, they mold for her, put it upon her head, she puts it.
So what's the man in all of these?
We will get to the man, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then puts the child on the back, on maybe the granite, just seated there, watching the mom hustle. Yeah. And when she's done, she makes certain, changes that they make, this daily work. So she makes changes, they put the child back on the back, picks the headpan, goes back home. On her way home, she goes to the market, use that money she just made to purchase things for the house, especially when the child is going to school the next day, goes home, meets because this is where the man is now, meets the man or the husband exactly where she left him. And where is that? In the site in front of his house, or in a bar close to the house with his friends, drinking, alcohol, or what we call it kind. Drinking, smoking, and fraternizing with smaller girls in the area. And then when she comes, she submits the money.
Submit the money.
You get it now. The remaining part of the change that she has made after the work, the market and all, and then she gives it to this man, and then in turn he uses the money to continue the same circle the next day. And then you call that also called submission. You see, these were the things that
is not submission.
That you get it now. So they term it as submission. So in that kind of place, if the woman wants to revolt or something, you hear things like, "I'm not now. He's your husband." You are supposed to. You see, these were the things that our timeline, our generation saw and said, this can't be it. This is not even the standard. This is not the model. This is not the original model that was given to us. We know that in the original model that was given to us, the man is the one that is most sacrificial to the woman. In fact, his love language is sacrifice. Her love language in turn to respond to sacrifice is submission. That means, because a man that, truthfully speaking, can die for you is worthy of your authority. Okay. And that's just the way it
the submission actually
is worthy of it. I don't think submission in regard, in fact in the matters of marriage, when we talk about submission, I'm talking about things like carrying him along in decisions, making decisions, making him a primary part of your life in decision making, making him especially in decision making, in how things are run, how you run things through him. And these are things that even he in turn does with his wife, if indeed it's a home that wants to last, and function properly. So if he can sacrifice or love his wife according to the model, submission is the response to love according to the model.
Okay, I'm thinking about that model, actually. Do you think it's irrelevant today?
No, I don't think it's irrelevant.
Let's talk about that. Okay, why do you think so?
Well, I believe in things that work. And over the years, we have seen it work.
But you've never been married, have you?
No, I have parents that stay together till now.
Okay.
And I saw
I'm talking
work.
about this our generation with the look of things right now.
I think one of the problems with our generation is that we are influenced by so many voices.
Okay.
So many voices. Everything is teaching us. Twitter is teaching, or X rather is teaching, Instagram is teaching, TikTok is talking. There are so many. In fact, I'll give you a classical example of something that used to happen, especially amongst the female gender. A lady just wakes up, comes to her ex account and says, trust men at your own risk. Meanwhile, she's typing that in from her husband's house.
So many voices.
The same person that is telling you, I can never. The next day you see her throwing flower or throwing bouquet.
Yeah.
It's her wedding day. You know what happens to the younger persons that get to see those kind of content, and because those things, whether you like it or not, your eyes and your ears are the gateways they are your learning learning gateways. So basically you hear those things and it registers in the heart of someone, and then it becomes a school, a teaching for that person over time. So much so that we begin to focus on the failing ones. If you check in our time, we always seem to put much regard to those that are failing and don't spend time checking those that are actually succeeding. We have people, fathers that are 50 years in marriage, 60 years in marriage, they are still alive. You didn't check their own model to see how it works. You went to look at a celebrity somewhere that just had like 3 years in marriage and said, men are wicked.
But why do you actually think that is? Nowadays marriages doesn't last as long as it actually does in the time past.
One thing you need to understand is that I got to learn over time that marriage is the strongest unit. The family is the strongest unit of any succeeding society. Every nation or society that would be that will shake, or that will make wave, that will be successful, it starts from the unit of the home, the family. That unit of the family. Once it can be crumbled, the society is at risk. In fact, check it, most of the people that are probably nuisances in the society, we can always do a backlog to check the home that they are coming from. It's always like that. And I would say that it is to that reason why that most people need to focus more on making their homes and marriages work, knowing fully well that as small or as minute as it looks, it is something that is actually very tangible. First of all, for example, practical examples. Each and every one of us grew up from home, right?
Yeah.
A child learns his first words from home. You hear dada, mama. It's first word. It learns it from home, not from the street, not from school. I personally, when I began to start my education, I was already speaking according to my parents. I was speaking, well for a 2-year-old. I was speaking well, and so when it was time to begin, my education, I didn't need to go through the normal rigors of probably going to crèche and play, and do those kind of stuff. I just started straight from the classes that do writing. Where did I learn it from? From the home. I didn't learn it from any forward corner of any school. From the home. That's how intentional. That's how important the home is to a child. The things, I was raised in a place that is very rough, somewhere in the south, very rough, but I was not, I didn't look like the environment. I didn't look like the environment, not because I was not in the environment, but because I was in a safe haven, my home.
Yeah, because of your own unit.
The unit. So no matter how, chaotic the environment was, and I mean,
the shield.
Chaotic the environment, was, every day is a risk in that environment. No matter how chaotic it was, those garbage end outside. They don't come in because the home, my family had found a way to shield us, the children, from the noise of outside. When you raise a child like that, in an environment, we will not be afraid, to commit responsibilities into the hand of that child. Be afraid that he's going to, throw it away or make a mess of it. That's how important the home is. This is the thing that is actually at stake. Is what is at stake. And I wouldn't want to put in, the spiritual aspect and all those things into it, but that is how important the unit called family
actually
is in a society.
We well established the fact that all these things that we see around actually influences some of the decisions, talking about having to have so many divorces around nowadays and all of that. We've seen that it's it's safe to say that it's kind of difficult right nowadays for Gen Z to submit. Probably because, like we said, the environment and all of that, what you see, you give an example of, the woman having to go work and then bringing a proceeds to the husband and all of that. So if you are to know someone navigating this path right now, having difficulty submitting in their relationship, marriage, Gen Zs, because of, the environment, influence and all of that, we're choosing, you said many voices. A lot of persons, they chose to listen to, the wrong voices. And those people that are victims of that, now they are having difficulty having to submit to, like you said, the actual model. How do you think people like that can navigate that part? I will actually be throwing this question, we'll be taking these questions to the street as well, to hear from our viewers, to hear from other persons, and then we'll bring it here and put them together. But before we leave, I'd like you to answer on that. How do you think they can?
Well, I would first of all say that being submissive in a relationship or being obedient, because now we're speaking about, basically, if we're speaking about submission, we're basically speaking about the female gender.
Okay.
Now, being specific in submissive rather in a relationship does not really stop a successful home building. Neither does it crash, a home that is supposed to actually survive or work fine. I would say that the word submission in itself does not make you a fool, because that is what it's kind of mirrored in our time. That once people hear the word submission, they just mean I'll not be mumu. I don't know if you get my point. That kind of like, I'll not be mumu, man, not use my head and all. I think we should not also be speaking. First of all, I don't think you should be in a marriage with someone you don't trust. I also don't think we should be talking submission if trust is not on the table. Basically, because and this is why how you enter also matters a lot. Many a time we see in our generation that the things that both parties now, both genders, look out for in a relationship or in the marriage that they want to enter is very flawed.
Yeah, so if we're understanding you very correctly, despite the fact that there are very sad stories out there, you have to look for the boxes that were not ticked before, those boxes that were not ticked before that person actually made that decision. Why they ended up like that, why the story ended up being, not good.
So you check it.
So that you can checkmate that on your own. And then when you get into it, you don't really have to not have so many problems about having to submit,
or having to love
the
your partner.
original model.
Original model. Emphasis on original model.
All right. Right now, we're going to call it a break, and then we'll take this question to the street. The question is going to be showing on the screen right now. We'll take it to the street, and then we'll get answers. The question actually is, why do you think it is difficult for this generation to want to submit in relationship? Yes, and despite the fact that we know that it's obviously very difficult. So what solution can you prefer to a person that is in that situation right now, having difficulty, submitting to their partner?
Some people see submission as a GBV issue, because they see it as somebody is trying to compel them against their wish. Somebody is trying to, make them lose their freedom, not knowing that that is not what submission is.
That is why it is very important we redefine what submission is. Submission is partnering with each other. Submission is, one person, you have to support that for the other person's opinion, for you people for the marriage or for the relationship to go well. Yes, I want, the advice I'll give to them is that they should go to the drawing board. They should go and know the real meaning of submission.
But women of these days are more educated, they are more aware, and so their understanding of submission has evolved. A woman can speak her opinion, can express her disagreement with a thing, so while still being submissive. What is really happening is awareness. People are not living relationships or marriages or finding it hard to submit. Rather, they are saying no to the submission that resists them, that limits them, and issues their voices. So it's just about working together. No party is greater than the other. There is no dominant, there is no submissive. You guys are both dominant and submissive. You guys can both lead and can still both be submissive. So that notion that submission is about control, it's about like one party taking control of the other, that should die. Submission can work hand in hand when a couple comes together and agree.
Gen Z nowadays, they live their life on social media. Everything is about social media, and comparison is the thief of joy. So they tend to compare what they see online, how people live their life online, how celebrities, public figure do everything online. So they compare it with themselves. So that's the main reason they can never be submissive, because they feel like the new coup is being all these feminism, all these equality. So submission is not the new coup, so they won't follow it. My advice will be, don't compare. Focus on your own marriage. Focus on, no marriage is perfect, so just work on getting better. That's the only way.
It's definitely hard for them because this is a fast-paced generation. Only a few still have like the old morals, because now it's just like, well, if some even feel they don't even need to be in a marriage or a relationship, because it has to do with the fact that this generation has made the most money. I mean, just look at what these people are doing, streaming, all this stuff. So when there's money, people tend to feel like they don't need anybody. So I say it's definitely hard. So it's just the way the world evolves, the way these things get more difficult. So, and it's really, we're losing the morals on everything, and it's just, it's hard, but at the end of the day, all I can say is, if they could just sit down and see, okay, my parents didn't come from this, and just try to emulate their parents, and I feel we'll all be all right.
All right, those are the amazing opinions from our guests out there. Hope you have been able to learn a thing or two. Yes, and that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you very much, David, for joining me today.
Thank you very much for inviting. It was an exciting discussion.
All right, until next week, I am your host, Joy Obaisiagbon. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
The new Edion expressed excitement as they danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawori Benedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
That I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also chosen me as an elder in this community. It's a thing of great joy. All thanks to the Esama of Benin, my people, my family, everybody, all Okada community for this great honor. I am very, very grateful.
Well, this is my brother. I'll call him my uncle because he grew up with my father. I'm so proud of him because we are doing the same rituals as the Edions of the Okada. It is our duty for us to make this place a greater place, for outsiders to come and see the goodness of God in Okada. And I'm proud of every one of us here. So shall it be to each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Waya waweso Odion ma Okada zima Esama zima Odion Ebona zima Odion Obala zima Odion Marawe Mari Owe Sama Odion ni mado pon Sama ni mado gbeken Sama e ma Odion wa na Esama magbekene ne osabo obuyo bitu ne baba no get on maga no dia mi maga mani do gbekene ne na ima yafe ima ato ima agbo oro pa ewu dori ima dia wo ne o be ti agbo ya no we mi maga me ni just Christ no mi afa
in this summer in our father's house in respect of our initiation to elders Edion level. As tradition demands, we are here today to come and also pay our homage to him, for him to also pray for us for long life and prosperity.
The climax after 7 days was paying of homage again to the Odion way, where he gave the initiate the full rights to function and to henceforth participate in meetings with Edion. It will go down in the history and minds of Okada community, Ovia people, Edo State, and Nigeria in general. The ambience, style, and the colorful ceremony associated with the 2025 initiation into the Edion Council of former Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakari Igbenedion, his brothers Bright Ayamakwe Igbenedion, Honorable Charles Osenwige Igbenedion, Peter Osawari Igbenedion, Dr. Fred Osawuni Igbenedion, Barrister Mike Osarene Igbenedion, Executive Director Operations, ITV and Radio, Chief Elder Ogbedio Wonse, Honorable Efosa Douglas Igbenedion, Ukponwa Igbenedion, Osawe Igbenedion, Edosa Igbenedion, Dr. Daniel Omorige Igbenedion, as well as Agbong Steve Igbenedion, among other sons of Okada.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Ugibo tawe se eniwan ibo tawe de na owe sike gbere ma ye ta gbera uzala no gbera mara gwa ka igegbe owe de na ni wan ama ama ìyàwó ni we tawe bo ama oni ama demino ama wa ya ma khawe do di yobona ma je no wa ra o ta gbon ya fe we ama na ya yuwe egbewe mama na ya yewa daman weze enwe na gwide nu ya yewo ori ma agwa kana ni wa na ogwu egwa yewe na amana ori ma o temege Victor ibizugbe obokan ya
baba owese numu yotona ama emi no kwa wa no yewe ni ma wa re owede no wero wa an yobo no we ikiyowa so pa age afefa iye kehu wa gba lo ma mi hu do ni ama emi no kaka bo wa ma no keke ni mu adobo mu se na ye eru owo keke na awon no ekunu vin na gbe oreke no na me na gbe oreke no ekunu vin na re kai no ma won ni emi no wuye ojigbagbe oba atope
ama ma agwa kan ni wa me o sa bo se je no wie o no ri do ba yo ka o re do ya fe no be ka gbo iye o ya fe ijo to wa ya fe o sa bo no gi ma ama no ma no sa lo bo ya gi ma ama no ma no keke egbo ri ma we ni ma gwa ka egbe uza no uza no gbera ama okay ya iyi we no salo boaji ile gbo wa ama no ama okay ya emi na emi le pote mark ama na fi ya oro awo na ya ran ama na fi ye gbero awo na ya ran epo maku ama no na ya ri bae olode ama no na ya dolupon ama na re gbopa ama ekene tenari ama no owo terari ayo balo ama ni arewa we no nye teni hi ere na fi owo na ye bere na ami se no ya sa mi obalo ama ni we ya ka bo ye o we ekenu fia we go na yekere we do kien no wa na oye bere ama okira emi okira emi okira yi okira uyi okira ilele okira no salo kwa uvie no salo kwa yi ni man ma lele we ni ama dama ni mame manedo ya ma ya ye gbekia ni ma ya we ni mi na dunu ni ma amaro eso ama soro ni ma mu fo na me we emi ma iduna ama ni okeye mi no ni ma ho ni ma begi dama nu we mi ni we ya kian na mi enwe na ya enwe ama no ya se gbe ebe na ni ma mi owebe na te certificate ewebe ni we yo na emi we ye kenu ti ese ebe enuri la diawo na te certificate ni ama no we ama nu ya yo webe na onu we ri la dia ai wa yo webe iwa ye university iwa yo na gebe ni la diawo ama no we dama ni mame manedo na ya dolo eyi na ya dolo egbe yi na ya dolo eyi na awe mi no ma keregbe kere mo ni ma bie wa gu iwe gwa he de mi nu ya gu egwa na wa awa no regbe awa no rebo na wa ai go ko lori ewu wa awa no otedo awe ye na seyo na re gbo wa àwọn no gbo wa ka be gbe wa ama emi na oyewo salobo ama bo ni wa be ni ma ya ma nedo ma se ti ya le lori ma ma wo teme ma gwa kana ama o teme gbegbe bu wede ko ama makana
mami ote mage no ri agwa ge ogbon mo kan si won pala wa ma wo na ya wa hanu we bie we na dolo bie ewe hin ama na ama bun we nu kai lu kan ba ama re gbo ma na gbon ama re upo ama re isinwina wa kin awupo ni wa mi ke ni na vina ama le loto agbon na awon na che zebra cross ama ni rie ma we ni moto mu no kin ahene huda ibi kara le ma gbera ama ro wa mi we eri seza ni wulo we oku na ya aye yare anado maye ogbelegare a King Square where do wana so ga igba aya gbon koto wani aya gbo kiyan de ya iniyan uga we go pono ri esopon ba ana maye ba la so na ya yere no gbina no kwa bege no gbera uga we pania una we se da papa wa we me ebo kini no we gbinu una we ga die upono ri upisi loko na opon ba market wa we mi awe maye ba okwo ba na tie emota bo ya re ba he amani ya yere enu suru ege ni na gudu mu iye wa ni de ga ma ere mi ayere gbe yere imoto we na ahia ewen ilaba ni ama na ya hon ewe ogwe no eni we na gbe na we ni ama na ya hon we yo mu gan eni hi uga wa do ge emi bun na mana no waye ọmọ náà wò bọ̀wé wẹ́tìn èrè kí àwẹ̀ òdúgbò àtọ́ lè ọdúgbò ọ̀rẹ́ ọba fi wọ́n á fẹ́ kí wọ́n lè palẹ̀ hàn ọ̀yà yá máa yọ ní ọ̀yà àwọn òdẹ náà lára kí wọ́n lọ́wọ́ èèyàn òdẹ náà kí wọ́n láwùrẹ́ gbé yàrá a máa ní igi òdẹ mọ́ ẹ́ a máa rọ̀ ìmọ̀tò náà lọ́ balìgì ẹ̀nà tí speedometer náà ọdún wẹ̀ ẹ́ ni ọ̀rọ̀ alẹ́ kí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ a máa níwá rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣe 80 ṣe 100 òdẹ náà kó ayé náà uri ogbe hin totore uri eye breaking usi escoto amani o ma we de ga amani ro we awa ale kan we ekene we ye ama o wa be bun wa we mi we ura ri e ona me we uri ezenia we aloke yin na amani se ma we ne we opin sari de na o han hu dato e do safety de mama de do de wa kan keni igogo ye yen mu eyo yen mu uvieni obigo awe igogo re ma usi irin west koto ni we ya ihule la ha u ga se ke no ana mudia awe ma me so be ro ava me mi gbode na te bumper na speed breaker u ga se wa amani ri ma wewe nu we rule gbe we se koto we ko lagbe ya hu do ni imura na maye we dagbe ma na gbon ate ti ta e ma ne ma na gbon na ma awe imu amaye gbe na ya yawo ma na ma ni kin na ya otu no kere na ya egbe no kere na ya ebo no kere wa re so ni iyan wa hiye tapa yiro avie ha gbe otuto avie ha nya odun wa yen we oteyo ba wa na kere wa mi o so okyunu avan amama kwe wa yen we igaba yi na kin wa mi eso avie gbe tun wa yen we wi obo na wa kin wa mi eso ayo mama won ewe sako o ma na kere hu do ni ama ogun ga no ama ni o ma wode o we ta ma we no keke nu ari yu o we ma we emi no gbera na ya ye ere kakabo igi ogbe ama no hu ano bada mamu igi ogbe ni fuwa igi ogbe so ikini gado awe ke ni ikini no zo pa ni igi ogbo ga we ma bi na no oba atope
ise ama ma gwa kana ni wa ma na su ne lugbe no ama we doro ni matala ni awu ni ma wa ama no ne do wa ne gbe wa ro egbe so ro yan ri eru ama no awa o awe ona rio ame o metire eso ro owo boy amawo boy ebo awewe ohun awa nweko owe ko wa lo yen amare ne na fi egbopa emi wa bun no ama nu we to bun we no da ho me na emi ne magwe orin oro ama no agwai ye ama video ama okira ibi no rie ijodu no ma okira ibi no rie enwan no ma okira ibi no rie eti no ma okira ibi no rie ijobo yan wa gbere ye ama gbe ote ta ba ama awe ema wa gbina ode ni ejo igbina ni natamu we ni orio ijodu we na ama no oni ebo ete information ama no uyi ogebo ne yate Nigeria constitution ama no uyi ogedo na waredo ama no ni ma waredo ni ma wa no ba imawa nige imawa woto awo wana wa woto ama eino ona wa woto wa ya zoe ama eino ina wewo ebode ni asome awigbaron oro awovia oro arohion oro eze na yakina ni ana ya ruwa no ya dole mi yi ko to ade ama eyin no ni wa ni we ni nya e ama e magwa kana ama no si ko we uyo we wo na yi we nu wa ya ra wa rara mu ewo o mi no ki de obo we wa be ki ire obo da u ki no ye bo gbe le ma ama e no ama da e we me ni ama na we asin o ro awe ewe wa lo mo gbe o te ra digbe o wa ru fun yo we o wa fo ama no ama ni wa o keke ni maka bo ge esi ge sesewesi ama wuwo wa ma ro uyin we yi ni mo ke ba me ana rai ama ni ki we ma tere na ma we gbe we na we na ta ni na we gbe we awa no ama no da ma no we gbe ne na fi no yo pa mai kana da ma no we wa da ma no mo lowo ne ma ave mi na ge o to se ge o awe ya wa la wa ne ri awona yan se ti we ama ni o de fi ora na ya fe ma ge we ama ni ma me gbe ke o re ru ke ya fe ma ri ka bo ge sense we di ma gerege ama na ya we ni singu na ye ma omo hi ni ma na lele ma na ya nwena ori opara ri ogbo yin wo o mwe machine ni mwe yo se ona mwe wo bona ege no ria ama na yi yoto ori ai ni o wa ni ka o na si ama o ke ai yi owe gbe owe wo owo saloboa ama ri we no ya lu ka na ya yi enye o emi na we gbon yoto we na gbon yoto abidi kere abc ama ya ni wa ona ya yuhi ma ye ta be ma ka 1000 no gboda ne dollar wo ne gwala wo na ama we do na ya ru ni ma wa we do na ya ru ni ma gbon yoto ma mi kena me ilele ma 1000 no gboda ana we ipe di yan ayaro yin re do ori yi ama gedegbe no so pa na mana gbe yoto e mo hin oro dopa e wa do wa ni wo la ni wa emi lo mi no wa mu yoto owe asona pa e wa ko ni yi asona pa e wa ko ni ri no te keke no ipe di yan ama ni o hin ni so pa emi na mani do akini en wu egbe ba iro ya gbera ne ku we ni no mu iro no ya ke ya fe we ebode na duza no uda uhina yi na rai o ama no ma ki no ma ke no hin ko egere gba ne
ma mi owu na ga die bo da ma na ya we ta han isebo udo mi ko na ma ye o ni ka hu ni ohun we aibu e wo ni owo ara lo kereze aweze gili we ama no ye mani ni wa hin ati ebi na ati ama no kwa wa no we edokin amuna ana mewe na te atawi ona laja gbodo we wete de ye edom hiani orie ma we ne mataredo owo ven ko we ba le gbe o ven na ko we wa san o ra ama we ame o ga ya hunu e wa buta na ama no kwa orie ma wa ni avanu hu na avanu we wo pa me no kwa e o di ni o do gbigbi lele na ga ituwe we
esisa esisa
oga kin ega we no kwa ni egbo won na to ta we akota wo be wo no me no kwa o filu sana kin awudun gboro awe ama no rie ma we o po won no kwa e o pa ama o be sunu be egbe fin aye we ni so sunu na ama no kwa ni hu do ni wagi ma ya ma na ya o ni ma ya lele ni ma re dode ọba àtọ́pẹ́ yìí.
níwọ̀n ama ẹ̀ma guakasi ama ọwọ́sàlóbua ìwé ọ̀rọ̀ ama ọ̀sàlóbua ìyí nọ̀sàlóbua yìí nọ̀kẹ́kẹ́ ni màá lélẹ̀ nàyẹ̀ rà ẹ́ ama rẹ̀ dọ̀wé rọ̀ nọ̀wé kẹ́kẹ́ ni màá rú nàyẹ̀ rìá wà ama rẹ̀ rọ̀ nọ̀yẹ̀ nàyẹ̀ kú mà nẹ́ dókíá ìyí nù káyé sọ̀bà wẹ́ ẹ̀wọ̀wé yẹn náà ẹ̀yẹ́ dọ̀yí rọ̀ bọ́síẹ́ ọ̀dà ìyá ni màá ìtẹ̀ka wẹ̀ di màá gbà rọ̀ ìyá ló wà màá wútọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ pẹ́ ìyá ni ìyá ìsìn ìlú ikú náà wà kíá ẹ̀yà bí ẹ̀dọ̀ ilẹ̀ wò wà ní àbí gbó ní ayé kàtìkàtì ìyá ni rọ́pọ̀ ẹ̀sẹ̀ yàsẹ̀ mi náà gẹ̀ ní kòrà yàsẹ̀ yàfẹ́ ìyá dókítà ni ama nọ mmanya tọ ni wàá rẹ ẹ nana mi wẹ ekele ma nya ẹ ma ye nya ẹ wò de gbé mama teka ne ewo nya do kuli ma wọ́n tó wẹ̀ awẹ́ wọn nọ̀kí àrèlè yòó wẹ̀ yóò tọ̀ lélẹ̀ wẹ̀ ama nọ ọ̀ma náà múre náà lè wọn náà yé náà ẹ̀ má kẹ̀kẹ́.
ẹ ọ kẹ̀kẹ́ ni màá ma ma ni màá yà mẹ́ra dáhùn ni màá mẹ́ wò tọ̀ màá yà nya.
ama ma ni ama òhìn màá na yí nana mi wẹ̀ ayé tìkó amata ma wẹ̀ wùdà òhìn náà de na be ru no bebo e bona gano ye we rayi na awe tu ye owu ya yo ge sosi ama oro ama ro na ya be ka eru na na awe keno de ade awe ru ana eru ana be ya pe ama e ya ni wa ya ju we iro ri aye ma ka bo yin wa ya pe e de no pe na lele ilele orima ama orima nege egwu ya ebe na otu eye kabita ama ọrẹ do ẹnu pàtàkì ní màá lele wọ màá bẹ ta ụzọ àná gbéra ya sì gbogbo ya sí ya ní màá yẹ de nìbú yìí wọ nìbú ni ọ̀hárí ẹ akugbe ní ma ọ̀hárí ẹ ní màá wúwo ẹbú ìbí ẹdọ ama ọrẹ do yẹn ilé lẹ ọrẹ wọ ẹyàn ilé ọrẹ wọ bẹ ẹwọ ní má bàa ma ọrẹ wò ní pàṣẹ má yà ọrẹ wò náà miẹ wọ ẹgbẹ sọyẹ ma ìyá mẹ kìnìún àdìyá mẹ kìnìún akéde má wà mọ orin ànyàhùn ama ẹyìn nù yàsẹ gbówọdọ ama ẹyìn nù bùnà yà ọmọdọ yẹ bẹ yàsẹ gbó sọ abàjà mi.
dàmà náà yà ọmọdọ ama rọ náà yà ọmọdọ.
sọ abàjà mi wẹ.
ẹ nọ fìdílé lóye kí n.
sọ abàjà mi wẹ ọmọ ọdọ ipa ọdẹ awọ ọmọ ama ọmọ ẹbí nìkú oníwèéwú.
ọwà ẹgbẹ ọrùwọ àkìyẹnì ọyìrì bí ọyìrà ọyẹwù n'ekwi ama náà rí èèmà wẹ ọrùwọ àkìyẹ ẹyìn náà fún dọ́ọ̀lì ọ̀rọ̀ akọ̀ wọn nà mẹ́rin ọ̀hìn àtàmà ọ̀hìn ọ̀bọ̀wùnú n'ẹ̀dọ̀mí ẹgbẹ́ tudógi ọ̀rọ̀ náà àgàwé àdùgí ọ̀gọ̀gọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn máa mà nà yàwẹ́ ọmọ náà yà àdùgí ẹni èso ni orúwè yàrá orúwè náà vi ni ama náà kó àná dè náà yà ẹ̀ka náà nàgbó fi orúwè ama náà rí èèmà wẹ àdá ọ̀dùgí ọ̀gọ̀gọ̀ ọdún zẹsẹ ọwọ àná ọgọgọ ọmọ
wàgùnrẹ gbòòrò òrùwé kọ́ ọ̀nà gbé náà sí ọmọ
amani òrùwé nìyí amani ọ̀rìyé mà wẹ ògì ọgọgọ ẹ̀ ọdún ni òrùwé ìbí ni ọ̀rìyé mà wẹ àkìyẹ ẹ̀ ọmọ àní yé ni ọ̀nà rẹ̀ mi wẹ wàrẹ̀ mẹ́ yàtọ̀ gbẹ lẹ́ni kàtà ẹ̀ bán ọ̀rọ̀ àṣẹ ìnáwó gbósẹ̀fù ìyànnìyẹn gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ àvúẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹ ama ọ̀pàlọ́ ọmọ ama yọ náyà yẹ ẹ́ o dèrò ọmọ náà yà á dòrì èrè ru ọwọ́ gé báyìí àgàgọ́ alẹ́sẹ̀ bá gbọ́ yẹn mú ọkọ̀ mọ́ náà àgàgẹ́lẹ́ rẹ̀ yà á mà ní ìmẹ̀ yìí ọmọ àbí yà á máa yọ kọ̀kọ́ ẹ̀ ọmọ yà á máa yẹ ẹ̀wẹ̀ ẹ̀ ọ̀và lọ yẹ ọ́ bá yìí ha ọ̀gà dípín àwọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kọ̀kọ́ ọ̀yà yọ rẹ̀ o ama nọ́kọ́ ẹ̀ nọ ọgọ̀ wọn sì ní èmi ọgọ̀ wọn ayé mi ọmọ ẹ̀ o n'ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ náà mú ẹ̀pẹ́ gbọ́mà ẹgbẹ́ wọn náà mú ẹ̀fọ́ ukunu wẹ̀túẹ̀ ara wa ta àwọn ẹgbẹ́ náà máa
ẹgbẹ́ náà ọ̀gbẹ́ni
amanaya ẹgbẹ́ ni ẹ̀ nọ adùnẹ́wù zọmọ wàhálà máa mú ẹ̀pẹ́ nígbìmọ̀ ìfọ́ àwọ̀ ọba
àtọ́pẹ́ òtú ẹ̀
ilé máa dàtú ẹ̀ ìpè àkèyíkú ìdánihìmá ìdàtú ẹ̀ ìpè àkèyíkú ìrẹ́ igbósà ìrẹ́ tàtú ìrẹ́ dùnmùnà ina bi dato ebe ewo ni re ugbogu kebe ni ri ko ha ugbogu wa yaro
owesi me le ma joto e ma ya fe ni da wi ma joto wa ya fe so ba no wa ya fe yaro le joto awe ka me do ya fe ni go ba do le mo yi ma joto wa ni ri gbo ni ro wa ke ni ri si ibi e o ni re ye ko bia ibi e o ni ri yokori won ni re ye ko won ode ni re ya fe me ye etien o temege ero be ya jotu wa ya fe o adun na wa ya fe ro ino ne ma be ya ni be dan we ma ibi e do kiri wa ri ya fe o saba no ge dun na wa ya fe no ama ni magwa kana na ge ya we ni uhi ama hi age ni u hunda inu ge ona ga ama ana gbin yo to egbe no to ka ma una so we rai ama orene èmi nu gbọ́n má gbọ̀n sí ama ẹ̀yìnà uyọ̀rẹ́ court uyọ̀rẹ́ politics uyọ̀rẹ́ yàfẹ́ ama ẹ̀yàrí nọ̀gùn mayarọ̀ Salomon jẹ́ ẹ̀dọ́mà ní mayàfẹ́ ọba àtọ́pẹ́ iṣẹ́.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Experience to have you join us on the program Heritage. My name is Precious Fortune, and of course you know how we get to do it on this program, where we get to take you around different cultural experiences, dance, celebrations, festivals, and all of that. And today is no exception. Well, today we're going to be looking at something quite unique. We're going to be looking at the Igede dance of Benue State. Now that dance, everything about that dance, the steps, the rhythm, the musical instruments, everything is spectacular. Let's go take a look.
The Igede dance is a popular and vibrant cultural performance of the Igede people of Benue State, Nigeria. It is often associated with the Igede Agba Festival, a major cultural celebration that showcases the heritage and identity of the people. The Igede people trace their ancestry to Sabongida Ora in Edo State. from where they migrated centuries ago under the leadership of a figure named Agba, before settling in present-day Benue State. The dance derives its name from the legendary founder, Agba, who was said to be a renowned native doctor. According to tradition, he was deeply connected to a musical instrument called Igede, from which the people and eventually the dance got its name. The Igede dance is a high-energy, expressive performance typically showcased during the Igede Agba New Yam Festival. It is performed to honor the ancestors, celebrate a bountiful harvest, and demonstrate strength, unity, and cultural pride. Though it can be performed at other times, it is most prominent during festive seasons. Characterized by fast-paced rhythms and dynamic movements, the dance is a spectacle of color and tradition. Dancers adorn themselves in striking traditional attire, often in shades of blue, white, and black, creating a visually captivating performance that reflects the richness of Igede culture.
Igede dance of Benue State, and that dance was really an amazing one. Everything about the dance is beautiful. I hope you enjoyed all of that. Well, do join us next time, of course, same station, for another episode of Heritage. In the meantime, have yourself a productive week. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
ló bí ẹ̀fọ́ rẹ̀ o. Wọ́n pa ẹnìyẹn. Wọ́n pa ẹnìyẹn o. Wọ́n pa ẹnìyẹn. Ọba tó pẹ́. Bànúkí wẹ́rẹ́. Bàbá nùkí wẹ́rẹ́. Àbùkí sì ní òkè o. Àbùkí sì ní òkè kọ́. Àmì rẹ̀ lọ yọ kí. Ẹ̀mí náà yẹ yòókù wọ́n sáyà yẹ wẹ́. Ètò ìdòkú yẹ ẹ̀ tó wọ́n fún maka. Ọba yẹn nọ. Báwo máa yọ? Báwo máa yọ? Báwo máa yọ?
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Hello and welcome to WIC, Women in Conversation. This is where women sit together to discuss things that are happening amongst us, especially the women. Do we talk about men? Yes, we do sometimes, when it is very, very necessary, especially when we're talking about marriage, talking about DNA and all that. But this is a room for women where we discuss, where we'll laugh, where we'll chit-chat, as you might call it. Anyway, it's a new episode, new production, and I am saying Happy New Year to you viewers. It's been a while, so we say Happy New Year and thank God we made it to 2026. Anyways, like as usual, I don't do this alone. I have my pretty women, my guests, always here to analyze some of the topics that we'll be discussing today. And on my right, I have Princess Edith Madejemo, who is a household name. She is the CEO Golden Touch Collection. Edith.
Good morning, Happy New Year, and thanks for having me.
Happy New Year, and welcome as usual. And to my left, we have Ayo. The thing about Ayo, let me talk about Ayo before introducing her. I have been pursuing Ayo to join us on WIC because she has a lot to talk about. She has a lot to educate us on. But of course, Ayo is a very busy person. Thank God she made it through to us today. She is Ayo Ali Balogun. Ayo Ali Balogun is a management consultant. Ayo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're so pretty. I told you behind the camera, I like your earrings, so I'm going to take it. Anyway, thank you for joining us again. And let's just go straight to today's discussion. Ladies, it's been a problem, mothers, especially these young mothers these days, they shy away from discussing the adult talks with their daughter. And so the question is, when is the right time to start the discussion with your daughter on adult talks? I know you understand what I mean when I say adult talks. Princess, let me start with you.
Oh. I'm actually on that table right now.
Wow.
And at times it gives me goosebumps when I'm talking about it. But what do we have to talk about it? As an intentional parent, you just have to be open to some extent. I don't think there is a perfect time for it, in as much as you watch your child or your girl child growing from 7 years, you can start at least educating her about herself. Then thereafter, from 10 years, I think you can start introducing some talk to her. Especially, I have this topic I introduced to myself and my daughter, mom and daughter night. We used to do it every Friday or Saturday night. At times, once or twice in a month, we do it. And that is the time we talk.
How old is your daughter, if I might ask?
She's almost 10. She's 9, going to 10. So we have mom and daughter nights, and at times, these nights are the nights we talk. At times, she would jot some things down about me that she want to tell me. Or about me, because I used to tell her, what do I do that you don't like? We parents, we can be somehow at times. So, and she will put it down. She's looking forward to that mother and daughter night that she'll tell me, Mommy, you used to do this and I don't like it. It makes me sad. As those points that she pointed out to me that makes her sad, I have to look into it. At times give her excuse. Then that is the time I have to talk to her about this adult talk. It's never too late when you start from 8 because you don't know where they go. You can't be with them all through. They go to church, they go to children party, you may be there. They go to school, you may be there with them at that children party, but you won't be playing with them. You know, maybe you just sit at the corner where the parents sit and they will mingle with their friends. They go to school. You don't know what the other parents are teaching their children. And some of these things come from school. Do you understand? So I would say from 8 years, because from 8 years, an 8-year-old girl child should understand what you are talking about. We're able to get the message. You understand? So I would say from 8 years, you start telling them their body and how to associate with the opposite sex.
Okay. Thank you, Princess. Now, Princess had said from 8 years. But some mothers will tell you, 8 years child, is a baby. I'm still, bathing for her and all that. I don't want to start talking to her about the adult talk at 8 years. Do you agree with her, or what exact time do you think is the right time for one to start discussing adult talk with the children? Let me remind you that some children, like you said, at 8 years are fully blown with everything. Everything, when I mean everything, I have seen a lot of them. So when do you think is the right time to start talking?
So personally, I think much earlier.
Okay. Earlier than 7?
Earlier than 7. And I must mention this. I don't know if you remember this lady, Auntie Jessica Obioma. She used to be there. And she told me many years ago and said, have you educated your daughter on her body in private? My daughter was 4 years at that time.
Wow.
I thought, strange. She said, no.
She's a child because you still have some children wearing Pampers at 4.
Right. So I remember visiting her and she said, no, you tell her here, if anybody touch you, no. Because abuse, someone who is looking for a prey would not leave children under 8. As long as a child begins to, the cognitive, develops and the child can assimilate, you understand, you begin to, in the language that the child would understand, you get. Even when they're playing, nobody touch you here, don't, like that. Break it beat by beat. You'd be surprised that by age 8, like you said, a lot of children, I know when I was much younger, a girl had started her monthly period at the age of 8.
Wow.
So you can imagine such a girl. Of course, she has womanly body and everything. Now, what do you think would happen if that child hadn't been well groomed?
Okay, that's it.
You understand? Now you also have some children are very adventurous. They're curious. There's so many things online today that they see and they want to explore. You see young children, I query a lot of the Nigerian movies where, they're very explicit when it comes to trying to describe adult scenes. And I think the Censors Board should look into that. I think it's just too much for me. So I think the earlier, as soon as a child can recognize and assimilate 8, 2, 3, nobody touch you here, okay? Anybody touch you there, you tell mommy. Because a predator starts to groom a child. I say, if you tell your mommy, I'll beat you. If you tell your mommy, I kill you, I'll kill your mommy. You understand? So you want to start building the confidence of that child as early as possible. And I love what you do, Princess, with your daughter, the mother and daughter. I wish, I had
talk.
The mom, yes. I wish I knew that when my child was that age. But I think that's brilliant. And I'm going to propagate it. It's brilliant. And I love the fact that you are encouraging her to pen down her thoughts about your actions.
You, yeah.
I remember once my daughter said to me, I was like, tell me. And she was like, no, I don't want to tell you. Because if I tell you now, when you're angry, you say it.
Oh, shit. I know how you feel that. I know.
And it never left me. it never left me.
Okay, so let's come to that. What did you think you did wrong that made her to, get to that extent of saying, if I tell you this, the day you're angry, you bring it up to use it against me? Where did you go wrong in this?
So, with parenthood, nobody has a manual. So you
Definitely.
come up, and then life has a way of, forming you. And you, the kind of person you are, determines. So this is me, who is a go-getter. And then my daughter, at that time, was a very quiet introvert. You could hardly hear her. So, I become very exasperated. I told her.
Because you're not acting like me.
Like me.
Why are you this quiet?
And guess what?
Yes, firebrand now.
Firebrand.
She was just forming. She was just forming.
Well, that's language. Forming. No, I don't think she was forming. She was watching you.
Yeah, no. So
that was her forming stage.
Molding.
Yes, molding. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
See, it comes in. Sorry, darling.
Yes.
It comes in different way. Like your daughter said, if I tell you what you do now, if I tell you what's happening, you will use it against me.
Yes.
I just imagine how you feel. It has happened to me actually. My own was smacking. So like you did something, I'll smack you. So there was something happened in school and she didn't tell me. I get to know, I think the third day or the other day, and I queried her. She said, I said, you told me everything. Because I made it a point of duty that when I come to pick her, right from the car, we're already discussing.
How did the day go?
Even if I'm on call, once I drop that call, start telling me, start talking. Don't wait for me to ask you. We started it when she was a little. So start telling me the things I couldn't enjoy when I was growing. I want my daughter to enjoy it. I enroll in all these different platforms, just to learn how to be a better mother, a better parent. I do. So I ask, I say, once I drop my phone, anything you think you should tell me, start talking. Don't wait for me anymore to start asking you. So I got to know 3 days after, and I asked her, why didn't you tell me? She was mute. For some time, I was like, am I talking to you? She said, yes. Did you hear what I said? She said, yes. I said, why didn't you tell me? And she said, if I tell you, you will smack me. That's just as you said, it got to my brain. Like, so this girl can keep secret from me because I will smack her.
So how did you correct that?
Oh, so whenever she tells me things that would have make me smack her, I will not smack her. I will just hold on and correct her. That part, I would have beat you. I don't want to beat you so you can keep telling me.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So because of after that scenario, such a thing never happened.
Ayo, I have had a young lady who came to meet me and said to me, I like the relationship you have with your daughter. I have just one daughter. I have the relationship you have with your daughter, but I do not have that relationship with my daughter. My daughter was actually very grown at the time she was talking to me about it. But her daughter was about 7 or 9. So she doesn't have that relationship that her daughter prefers to go talk to her dad. And then most times when her daughter wants to use her undies or, zipper, she goes meet her dad. Daddy, do my zipper for me. Where do you think that mother went wrong for the daughter to have stayed away from her and rather talk with the father?
All right, so a lot of women, query, my children prefer the father, or that this.
I don't say anything wrong.
I don't say anything wrong with that. And I think, the father also has a right to enjoy special bond
with the
daughter and with the son. So, we can't tell, even as adults, we don't choose who to love or who we fall in love with romantically. And now when it comes to bonding, there's this special thing that it just happens. I don't think the mother went wrong, and I don't think she should beat herself over it. She should leverage on the father and daughter relationship to get, her own space, which is, complements that relationship, encourage the relationship, and the girl will begin to trust her enough to say, oh, mommy's chilled with this, and bring her in. I want to have her as the third man in that relationship instead of trying to, form her own and by breaking it. I don't think so. I think the father has a right to have a special bond with his daughter, and I don't think the mother went wrong. And she should just leverage on the special father and daughter relationship, which I love, and promote it, encourage them, and they would naturally drag her along. I think.
Fantastic. They would naturally drag. I just hope she's listening, because she was very worried. She came and then she was complaining, my daughter doesn't have this bond you have with your daughter. But I built that bond with my daughter.
It's not a one-day thing.
It wasn't a one-day thing. Just like she said, I started this mother-daughter talk. I made her to know that she has to tell me everything. She's free to discuss anything with me. And then we became very close, In fact, don't worry. You see the two of us, you think we're friends. Yeah, she's very grown now. Anyway, let's go on a short break. We will be right back to continue this discussion. It's WIC. Welcome back. It's WIC, Women in Conversation, and we're still here. I still have Edith in the house, and then Ayo Ali Balogun is still here. We were talking about the right time to discuss adult issues with your girl child. But anyway, everybody here has said their own how to handle it and how to go about it. I just hope you viewers out there listened and learned from these two women here. So we're going to be moving on, still on the girl child. Yes, a lot of people will say it's a boy child, not a child. The boy child is also molested, okay? It's not just the girl child, but it is very common with the girl child. We have seen very recently where we see 11-year-old girls being pregnant. We see the pictures and videos everywhere, and it's beginning to become a thing of concern, So that is why I chose for us to discuss this today. A boy child is also very, very molested, just like a female child. But let's move on to the girl child. Still on the girl child, dating. When is the right time for a girl child to start dating?
Right. Sorry. So before I go into that, permit me, I'm also very passionate about the boy child. Mm-hmm. The boy child, any child, male or female, is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Very, very.
And must be educated. Mm-hmm. You have, boys child sodomized by older caregivers or people around, or also explored to adults things by the older female caregiver. So it is important, whether you have a girl child or boy child, to educate them on how to keep their private. So back on track.
Thank you for that. So back on track. When do you think is the right time for a girl child to start dating? We are concentrating on the girl child today. Right. We could bring in the boy child later on, but for the girl child, when is the right time for a girl child to start dating? Romantically.
Now, so when you say dating, I found that in recent times that, I think our generation would say dating is, immediately you're kissing, you're going to bed and all of that. But apparently, when you say dating, it's just you're going out for drinks, you're going out for movies. Then from the dating stage, you have the talking stage, and then so there are different stages according to the millennials and the Gen Zs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now, for the girl child, any child, especially female, who is smart enough to get into the adult space, that is the university, is open to and susceptible to things like that. Now, you can imagine a girl child, so this child goes to university at the age of 16 or 17. I think there was a law, I don't know if they reversed it now, that the girl, you can't get into university in Nigeria until you're 7 age.
Yeah, that law just started last year, sometimes last year.
3 years ago.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes, I think yes, maybe to 2024 or early 2025. Yeah. So, but if a girl child is old enough to get into university, smart enough to get into university, and finds a guy that she finds, to be honest, all of us at some point when we were in secondary school had crush on one person or the other. Sure. So, but in the university, Yeah, you can encourage, because most, and from experience, I'll tell you that it's actually better for them to begin to have an open mind about having, healthy relationship, not amorous relationship with opposite sex, not that early. So when we say dating, are we talking about just going on, oh, my friend is visiting me and the works? Yeah, I mean, I think 8, 16, as long as you're in the university, I'm cool with that. But even if you're in the secondary school and, they do the dating, but they won't call it dating. They call it hangout. So we need to define clearly what we mean by dating.
And that is why I said dating romantically, not the hangouts. It's not even hangouts. We hear children say, I'm going for a sleepover in my friend's house. Oh. Yes, a sleepover. So we're going to be touching the sleepover thing, because I have a friend that has a particular issue about her daughter going for a sleepover. She also came to report that case to me. But let's go to you, Edith. Let's talk about the dating before we go to the sleepover.
To me, I won't say there's a particular age frame for dating. But like she rightly said, when a girl child is smart enough to be in the university, I think she's open for anything that comes to dating. Because in the university, you have mixed people, you have people, you have people that you crush on, that crush on you. And I think at that stage, you can express yourself, and another guy also is bold enough to express themselves, unlike when they were in the secondary school. At this stage, they are very expressional, and you are open for that. Then you should prepare your child, your daughter, ahead of this stage. Although they should also prepare their mind ahead of it, that, okay, now you, my daughter, you are going to the university. Mind you are going to come across Peter, you're going to come across some men that will admire you. Admiring you doesn't mean they want to take you to bed. You can associate. You can date anybody, but not the romantic part of it. You understand?
Yes.
Not going to bed. Then while dating, communication, like you said, stage by stage, communication, going out for lunch, for dinner, at times you party. It's an agreement. From the beginning of that dating, you spell out what you want. You understand? We want to just be friends. I love you and I like you. Let's be friends until I get to 20.
Don't you think that word love is heavy for just being friends?
No. It can't be heavy. You can love somebody and still respect that person's opinion.
No, but that's actually what love is. Love is respect.
So I love you and I want to date you. You can accept to date the person. I'm not going to bed. I'm not romantically entangled.
And that's where...
Are you getting it? Then you can be there for each other. You can have lunch together. You can go to party together. And you can still remain clean. Until the time that appointed time that you said, okay, you can just reach an agreement like, I want to be 20. I want to get to 21. I want to do it when I'm a graduate.
Okay. We'll come to that. Yes, let's go to you.
It brings us back to those adult education you've been giving your child.
Thank you.
So it's cumulative. Now you now see how successful you can measure your performance by how your girl child responds to all of this. Now she has a freedom. Has she all of a sudden forgotten all the education you have given her over the years? And that is where you also don't sit back or rest on your oars as a mother. You still go on, Let the girl child be open to, exploring.
But that in this Gen Z age, they are actually very different, okay? Back when they get to school, all the children are coming from different homes, different upbringings, different background. What you told your daughter is not what I probably would have told my daughter. Do you know there's some parents, there's some mothers who would say, if you meet a senator, that will spoil you. Go ahead to do that.
Oh, you have parents that can encourage their children to do all sorts.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So how do you maintain that that's good upbringing, that's good conversation you have had with your daughter before going to the uni? How do you continue to maintain that so she doesn't get to be lured by a child coming from a different background?
Constant talking. I will stay, like she said, you don't relax, like you've done your part, and the rest is left for her to decide. You still keep talking. Keep still talking, and once in a while, talk to her, call her. You can bump into her. I like to do that once in a while. Just go to school unannounced, and you know where your child is. Like all the teaching all along, she has to put them to practice. If you have been teaching her from the age of 9, 10, and now she's free. You know, there are some children that are free. When they see freedom, it look as if you'll be caging them. They will just go haywire. But there are some children, even when they have that freedom, they will still be able to maintain that, you know, that character that they brought from the house. Like, okay, this is what my mom said I shouldn't do. I shouldn't be found in this company. I shouldn't be found in this company. But mind you, evil communication corrupts good manners. It does happen. It does.
So that's what I'm
there
saying.
Kids,
how do you curb that?
Even when you give them all the home training, all the training that you think you should give your child or your daughter, when they go out there, they do something else. Some children are actually two-faced. I'm sorry to say, some children are two-faced. They come home, they are very innocent. They are very innocent. They are very decent. They are very calm and reserved. If you see them out there, if you have a picture of how your daughter behaved out there, you will be able to.
Let's take it from Edith saying some children are two-faced. How do you identify a child that is two-faced?
So, you know, by and large, all of these things, the adult talks you have with your child, you know, it's not just the adult talk you have with your child. You have other talks too. What is your value as a woman? Are you able to communicate your value as a woman to your husband, to your daughter, to your son? What is the value as a family? These are the things that you have to build over time. This family should be known to be a family of peace and integrity, accountability. It's not a function of somebody knocks and, who is that? Tell them that I'm not in the house. Tell them I'm not in the house. It's the landlord has come to your child will learn not just by what you say, but by what you do. So when they now have the freedom, because over the years you have exemplified true leadership, the type of leadership that you would want to see in your child. Parents get asked, would you want your child to act the way you have acted in certain situations?
Okay.
They keep mute.
They keep mute. So it borders on values.
Okay. We are going to be rounding off this episode. Just 1 minute, one word, not 1 minute, one word to mothers out there.
Train up a child in a way that he will grow. That when he grows, he will not depart from it.
Ayo.
As a mother, and as a caregiver, love. And be free to express love. Let I love you not be a once in a while thing. You may not have the opportunity tomorrow to say I love you.
Wow. We've come to the end of this episode. Actually, Edith said train up a child properly. Let me, brief it there. And Ayo says love. Learn how to love and let the love not be a one-day thing. Continuously, that's what he wants there. Keep telling your daughter, I love you, even your boy child, I love you at every minute. Anyway, it's been an amazing time out with these women. Thank you so much, Edith, for coming, and thank you, Ayo, for being here today. And it is a wrap here from us here on WIC. We'll see you next time.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.